That's going to go all the way back and gone. Brando LaRue with a fence scraper to lead off. Right off of Mignetti to the second baseman, and unable to field it there was Scansey. Runner's going to come home. Flared up, that's going to get over the head of Scansey. That'll drive in Puig to make it 4-1. Circling around to third is to the seventh, but hasn't given up a run here as of yet. That's going to miss downstairs, and now getting caught in a rundown perhaps. No, that's going to go off the glove of Malik Williams. Circling around to third, coming home is Brando LaRue. No throw, and that is a big insurance run for the Leafs on a gap in the field of play by the Berlin Keg Tappers. I see what you did there. The 1-1. Flared high, deep into left center. It's got some distance all the way back, and it is gone. Brando LaRue goes yard for the second time tonight.
Looks like they've only played one, which at this point in the year is not a lot.
Well, that one's going a long way, deep into left field, and that one is gone. Marcus Connect goes yard for a 2-run shot to make it 9-3 Leafs. Florentino gets set. Here it comes. In for strike three, he got him, and that's the ball game.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs coming home with the victory against the Berlin Keg Tappers, Zach. In that game last night, the Maple Leafs are starting to get on a little bit of a run, and Brando LaRue really had the two big swings in that game. Couple of home runs. A guy who, Rob Butler was talking about last game. He loved how well he plays on defense, and it was funny. I was talking to Rob Butler about Brando LaRue, and he said anyone that's shorter than him is a small guy. So he called him an undersized guy, but he said he's so good at baseball, and he has a lot of fun watching him. And right now, the Maple Leafs and their fans are having a lot of fun watching Brando LaRue.
Yeah, I was really excited when the news broke that the Maple Leafs were getting Brando LaRue, and he really just hasn't disappointed whatsoever since joining the Leafs. The numbers, they speak for themselves. The average sitting over 300, OPS in the high 900s. Just tremendous stuff coming out of the shortstop. As well, he's given you plus defense, and that speaks volumes, especially here at Christie.
So the Toronto Maple Leafs will look for a win against the Welland Jackfish. That's their opponent in this one tonight. That pitch is coming up shortly, so we'll get you to the Toronto Maple Leafs starting lineup, and it has been the top of the lineup that has been red hot to start this season. Brando LaRue and Yasiel Puig have carried the Toronto Maple Leafs to, well, a couple of wins out of the All-Star break. Jordan Mandalay is back in the lineup. He played his first game back after an injury. Was a big part of that win as well against Kitchener. He's hanging in the 3 spot. And Marcus Connect, he had an at-bat right at the end of the game against the Guelph Royals, which was 2 games ago, where he got a base hit. He struck out a couple times before that. I just thought that Marcus Connect kind of found something after that pitch. And it turns out he did, because he went and hit a home run last game. So he's followed by Dennis DeManning, Spencer Ross, who's at third base, and then the bottom third in the order, Crix Tavares, who had a home run a couple games ago, Ben Sidorenios, who's getting the start tonight in center field, and Matt Brandt doing the catching for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Zach, the defense today for Toronto.
Yeah, like you mentioned, in the outfield, left to right. Dennis DeBanning in left field. Ben Sidorenios gets the call in center. Yasiel Puig out there in right. And on the infield, from left to right as well. Spencer Ross at third, LaRue at short, Mandalay back at second base here at home, and Crix Tavares will be manning first base. Matt Brandt is the battery mate.
So the Maple Leafs looking to make it back-to-back wins after they took a pretty sound loss to the Guelph Royals, but then they came out and just got right back on track against Kitchener.
Yeah, again, it's a tall mountain to climb just to kind of fight back in the standings for the Maple Leafs. They currently sit now at 9-18, but they took the right steps after the big kind of blowout loss to the Guelph Royals. They go into Kitchener, they handle business, they get a great game out of Nick Veselinovic. You get the return of Jordan Mandalay. The pitching again is phenomenal out of DePaula and Florentino. And like you mentioned with Marcus Connect, the swing kind of unlock something, and he's able to get that big-time home run.
Yeah, Veselinovic was fantastic. Gave up just that one earned run over 5 innings. That'll give your team a chance to win almost any day of the week, especially with the amount of runs the Maple Leafs have been scoring in the games that they've won. And then also another note, Luis Florentino only threw 10 pitches. It wasn't a save situation, but to close out the game last game. So presumably he would still be in play with that low pitch count for this one today if they did need him to try and get the win over the Welland Jackfish. We talk about a Welland team who beat the Guelph Royals last time out. Zach, they get a really bad start from their starting pitcher, Ben Abram, who only goes an inning and 2/3, but they come back. The bullpen is able to shut down the Guelph Royals just enough, and they come away with the 10-6 victory.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of the Royals players after that game, and they all kind of had the same thing to say. Eric Johnson came in at relief, pitched 4 innings, struck out 9. There was a moment in the ballgame where he struck out 5 straight batters, and it was kind of something that happened in the game against against Guelph earlier in the season. It was the same thing. They chase a good starting pitcher out of the game early. A left-handed reliever comes out of the bullpen. It's the same guy, Eric Johnson, and he absolutely shoves. And and this is why they are the defending champs right now. They overcame an early 5-0 deficit. They're able to win the game 10-6, and they really show why they're a dominant factor here in the CBL.
Yeah, the Welland Jackfish are very much in the mix to be maybe the 1 seed, certainly a top 3 seed right now in the Canadian Baseball League. As we take a look at the starting lineup for the away side today, it's Daike Abe who's playing left field and leading things off, and then Jonah Weisner, who's the second baseman today. Ethan Mann is at first base, hitting in the 3-hole. James Smybert, who's the shortstop, and it was funny, I was looking at the spray charts for all of the Welland Jackfish at the beginning of the game, and every single player just hits the ball everywhere, all over the field except for James Smybert. So maybe the Toronto Maple Leafs defense can pick up on that. He's hitting in the cleadoff spot today, but obviously has tremendous power, as does Justin Gideon, who's hitting right behind him. Robert Mullen is not the catcher today. He's getting a day at DH. That's because Logan Grant, I should say, is the catcher. And then Gio Morello, who's in center field, and Carson Johnson, who's at third base. And this Welland Jackfish team is always a tough out every night.
Yeah, you saw the names there. I mean, the two that kind of stick out more than anything, Daike Abe and Jonah Weisner. Those two are in the top 5 or leading in basically in almost every single offensive category there is. They have had tremendous seasons. Abe sporting that .391 batting average. Wow, Jonah Weisner leads in RBIs, hits, doubles, whatever it is, you name it, you'll see Jonah Weisner's name up there. This Welland Jackfish team, the offense, it's maybe the best we've seen in a while out of a team.
So there you go with Lennis Alvarado. That's what you got to deal with tonight. He's the starting pitcher for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and is it fair to say he's been hot and cold this season? Like we've either seen Lennis Alvarado be like dominant, or he's also had some outings where the opposing team has kind of got to him as well. Obviously, the Maple Leafs are hoping that he's that dominant player today. He's faced the Welland Jackfish already in this season in a game in Welland, but Zach, maybe just a key to success and what the Maple Leafs probably want to see from him on the mound.
Again, this is a guy that was the ERA leader only a couple of seasons ago. Alvarado, it's always kind of been the running thing, and we've heard it from coaches as well, saying that he needs time to build up at the start of the year, and once he's built up, we see him at his best usually come towards that playoff time in the later half of the season. This year, like you mentioned, there's been a lot of hot and cold moments, but I want to look back to the game against the Barrie Baycats where he went 4 2/3 inning, only gave up 1 run, struck out 5 batters. The walks, yes, there were 3, but that's a really good building game for Alvarado. Now, obviously, you go against a Welland Jackfish team that is so talented. It's going to be another test here, but use that game against Barrie. You were missing barrels, missing bats, soft contact all around. Use that here to propel this start against the Jackfish.
Yeah, I was talking to his manager, Rob Butler, I guess it would have been about a month ago, and Alvarado was just kind of getting back into the swing of things because he had a couple rough outings to start the year, and he mentioned that Alvarado sometimes gets a little bit too addicted to his breaking ball, because that's the pitch that was really good for him when he was coming up in the minor leagues in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. But he said, Alvarado's best pitch, conventional wisdom is that the breaking ball is his out pitch, but teams start to sit on that after a while, and there's a lot of really, really good hitters in the Canadian Baseball League. But he said the 2-seam fastball is a key to success. But then I look at a lineup like the Welland Jackfish, who just slaps the ball around the field all the time. but also steals a whole bunch of bases. So two-seam fastballs would be a lot harder to steal bases. So maybe he could help Matt Brandt out a little bit with the running game if he throws that two-seam fastball a lot, because as his manager said, it's still a really good pitch.
Yeah, and he's a three-pitch pitcher. He has the two-seam fastball or the four-seam, the kind of the run it gets out of his hand, the natural run that lefties have. He has that breaking ball, but he also has a changeup as well. And if you can kind of master 2 out of 3 of those pitches where, you know, at least 2 of them are on every single game, it makes it tough for hitters because everything is breaking in different directions. And that's been the thing, like you mentioned, he relies sometimes too much on that breaking ball. Some games he doesn't fully have it, and it's hanging over the zone. And like you said, players in this league, they are very talented. They can pick up on those kind of mistakes. And this Welland Jackfish team, they are definitely one of those teams.
These are the standings in the Canadian Baseball League that you can see on your screen right now. The Barrie Baycats are playing the London Majors today. So either way, one of those teams is going to win, and that's a team that the Welland Jackfish wants to lose. But if you're looking at the top of the standings right now, a Barrie Baycats loss and a Welland Jackfish win would see them tied for first place in the Canadian Baseball League, while the Toronto Maple Leafs at the All-Star break had a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs. A win today, they can move that up to a 7% chance. But I think Brando LaRue said it best the other day when we were talking to him. If you even start to think about, you know, oh, what if we win 3 games in a row? What if we win 7 games in a row? That can be kind of a dangerous narrative. It's important for these hitters and pitchers on the Toronto Maple Leafs to kind of take this one game at a time.
Yeah, and you said take it day by day, game by game. That's kind of the vibe that this Maple Leafs team has. You can see, they understand. At the start of the season, it was not the way they wanted things to go, but they will improve. They have been improving since that All-Star break. They're looking kind of more like a fundamentally sound team. You know, last game or 2 games ago against Guelph Royals, there was a couple of hiccups in that, but they answered back nicely against Kitchener. Here, you're going to get tested yet again. A big battle is ahead of you. If they're able to come away with a victory here tonight, that would spark kind of a little bit more chatter in that clubhouse and in that dugout.
The Welland Jackfish are a tough out. You don't want to let them get on the base pass. They lead the Canadian Baseball League in stolen bases by a mile. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been getting tremendous power from some of the guys at the top of the lineup, like Brando LaRue, who had the 2 home runs last game. And every game, Yasiel Puig is an X factor for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he looks like one of the best hitters once again in the Canadian Baseball League. We'll have first pitch coming up after the national anthems here at Dominico Field.
Guys, over there.
Everyone dreams of being great. Only a select few can be iconic. But only one is chosen. Introducing the Chosen One from Rawlings. The all-new one-piece composite iteration of the top-rated and established Icon BB Core bat.
Ladies and gentlemen, please decline to wear your mask for the playing of the national anthem performed by Zach Thiessen.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true with love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see the rise, our true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Guys.
Well, welcome to Dominico Field. Thomas West here alongside Zach Benoit. The Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Welland Jackfish. The Maple Leafs need wins. The Welland Jackfish are hoping to be first in the Canadian Baseball League if they can come away with a victory here tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Welland Jackfish, who have been a red-hot offense all season long, a team that you want to keep off of the base pass because the speed at the top of the order with Daike Abe, who's in left field, then Jonah Weisner at second base batting second. In the number 3 spot is their first baseman Ethan Mann, James Smybert, the powerful shortstop, followed by Justin Gideon, who's in right field. Robert Mullen is getting a DH day today, and then the bottom 3 in the order, Logan Grant, the catcher, the center fielder, Gio Morello, and Carson Johnston is at third base, and that's the task that Wilhennis Alvarado has in front of him today.
Yeah, he faces the team that leads in practically every single offensive category in the books here this year. And Alvarado, we mentioned him during our pregame. If he's able to have command of that fastball as well as that breaking ball, he is going to find himself to have a lot of success. But if he has that breaking ball kind of hanging over the zone, this is a team that can pick up on damage.
This is the defense for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Behind him tonight, Dennis DeBanning. Ben Sidorenios getting the start in center field, then Yasiel Puig is in right. He has Spencer Ross at third base, Brando LaRue at shortstop, Jordan Mandalay. That's a sight that the Maple Leafs love to see back in the lineup at second base. He was back last night against Kitchener. Crix Tavares hit a home run a couple games ago against the Guelph Royals, and then Matt Brandt is behind the plate doing the catching. Crix Tavares was the guy who was at second base for a little while, but the versatility on the infield that he has moved over to first base today. Daike Abe, the speedy outfielder, leading things off here against Wilhennis Alvarado. Welland Jackfish coming off a 10-6 victory against the Guelph Royals. Maple Leafs won last time out 9-3 against the Berlin Keg Tappers, as this one's tapped foul by Abe on the first pitch. Keg Tappers was a Oktoberfest night that happened out in Kitchener last night, so they had some fancy uniforms, as you might have seen in the open there. It was fun to watch on the broadcast last night. So that pitch from Alvarado misses down and away. That was the breaking ball there. Alvarado, a good two-seam fastball and a devastating breaking ball are pitches that he gets a lot of outs on. Here's the 1-1 to Abe. Abe takes low and away. Welland Jackfish don't hit a ton of home runs, but get a ton of hits this season as Abe hits this one on the ground to Jordan Mandalay, drops it, picks it up, sidearm throw to first base, and it is in time to get him. Great recovery by the veteran second baseman for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and again, Mandalay probably has to get adjusted to the infield here. It's been a little bit of time off after that hand injury, but that's a good recovery there. You keep your poise, and you get a very speedy runner and a very dangerous runner off the bases there in Abe.
That's the way the Jackfish get a lot of hits. I mean, they make a lot of good contact, but if you make any kind of a gap on the infield, there's a really good chance that with their speed, they're going to beat it out at first base. Here's Jonah Weisner now, who takes down and away. So just to the point I was making before, the Welland Jackfish are last in the Canadian Baseball League in home runs. Now, a big part of that is because it's hard to hit home runs in Welland, but lead the Canadian Baseball League with 340 hits in 29 games this season, as this one's popped up back towards the broadcast booth and foul out of play. The big number stolen bases, they've got 109 of them in 29 games. Alvarado needs to limit them on the base path as much as possible. That pitch just misses outside, ball 2 to Weisner.
Yeah, I mentioned Jonah Weisner leads in basically every, or almost every, offensive category for an individual. Only has 1 home run, but 40 RBIs.
And this one's a bouncing ball through the infield for a base hit. And the Jackfish have their first base runner here in the top of the first with 1 away.
First baseman number 15, Ethan.
Well, Hannes Alvarado coming into the start with the ERA of 7.85, but it's really been up and down. He hasn't had a lot of starts that were kind of average. He's either been lights out or got hit around a little bit this season. Alvarado coming off one of his good starts against the Barrie Baycats, went 4 2/3 innings, gave up just 1 earned run back on July 19th. Here's a ball hit to Brando LaRue, flips to second for 1. Mandalay on to first, not in time. A strong play on the Maple Leafs infield. Brando LaRue and Jordan Mandalay are about as good as it gets up the middle, but just too much speed at first base.
That's got to feel real good for the side of Alvarado. You get a speedy runner in Jonah Weisner off the base paths, and you have a good turn up the middle there. The middle infield duo of Mandalay and LaRue, it's been something that has been missing for the last couple of games, but I'm sure both players are happy to be back there working as a tandem.
There's James Smybert, and he takes in the dirt. Well, Hannes Alvarado hasn't got a start at home since June 7th, so it's been nearly 2 months, but when he has pitched at home, he's been really good, an ERA of 3.14 on the season at Christie Pitts. Here's the 1-0. That one misses outside. Couple breaking balls to start James Smybert.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to start off an at-bat. You go 2 breaking balls the outside half. Obviously, you hope to have one at least catch the corner, establish that part of the zone. You can start painting your fastball out there as well, and it makes the left-handed batters kind of think that they have to protect out there.
The 2-0. That pitch just misses as well, 3-0.
You can really see what Hannes Alvarado is trying to do. He is trying to establish that outside corner. Hasn't found it yet. The umpire saying those are just missing a little bit too much.
The 3-0 pitch finds the strike zone. James Smybert is one of the few Welland Jackfish players that doesn't really spray the ball around a lot. He loves to pull the baseball into right field. He's got some power as well, a couple of jacks on the season. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that's a breaking ball that finds the zone. Gutsy pitch there on 3-1 by Alvarado, and he painted the inside corner.
Yeah, you got to love a backdoor breaking ball. Smybert has been seeing everything low and away, and that kind of one crosses him up, but if he swings, it's jamming him because his arms are too extended out.
Here's the full count pitch from Will Hennis, and it's fouled off. He went back to the breaking ball. That's an interesting strategy, too. Good pitch calling there from Matt Brandt. I was talking to the Maple Leafs backup catcher, Dionysius Chialtis, and he said one of the valuable things he likes to do with pitchers is that when they throw a good pitch, call it again. They have a good feel for it. Back-to-back pitches, the second time, your starting pitcher has a really good chance to get it right if you call it 2 times in a row. The 3-2. This one's popped up on the infield. Looks like it's going to stay in play. Crix Tavares coming over, and it's Matt Brandt who tries to make a diving play, and it pops out of his glove and goes to the Jackfish dugout.
Yeah, it looked like there still was a little bit of miscommunication between Tavares and Brandt. They kind of both went for the ball, almost had a collision there. But Smybert will take that. But again, it's Will Hennis Alvarado going back to that breaking ball. So early on, it looks like he's establishing he has good command of the breaking ball. It'll be interesting to see what he goes to here in this 3-2 count. Wouldn't be opposed to having that 2-seam running in on the hands of Smybert.
See if Alvarado can bear down and get one in the strike zone here again on the 3-2. And this one's off the fists and fouled off. And this at-bat is extended. Alvarado's made a lot of good pitches in a row, and Unfortunately, that ball was just kind of hit into no man's land, but Alvarado has got to feel like he's a bit hard done by. He's made some good pitches, but still hasn't got Smybert out, and if he throws the ball, in danger of walking him.
Yeah, he's sequenced very well here in this at-bat. Now you just got to put the final nail in that coffin.
The 3-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. What a pitch from Johannes Alvarado. That was a great battle. And the Maple Leafs starting pitcher shows some resilience as he gets out of the first inning and turns things over to the bats of the Maple Leafs when we come back. Back here at Dominico Field as we take a look at the starting lineup for the home side, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Brando LaRue leading things off, followed by Yasiel Puig and Jordan Mandalay, who's back in the lineup and hitting the 3 spot this time for the Maple Leafs. Marcus Connect, followed by Dennis DeVanning, then Spencer Ross, who's at third base. Crix Tavares at first. Ben Sidorenios getting the start in center field. Matt Brandt behind the plate and batting 9th for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Zach, the top of the order has been good, and they're taking on a tough starting pitcher in Quinones today.
Yeah, Welland Jackfish has been phenomenal. He's coming off a win his last time out against the Brantford Red Sox, pitched 5 2/3 innings there. Got touched up a little bit in Brantford, 7 earned runs against him, but still got the victory in that game. If you're the Maple Leafs here, you got to just make him work early. You know, get him to throw a lot of pitches early. Coming off a game where he didn't have his best stuff, was still become walk away with the victory. You got to hope that that's kind of what he brings out here today.
Brando LaRue leading things off for the Maple Leafs. And Quinones' first pitch is upstairs, ball 1. Quinones coming off a game where he pitched against the Brantford Red Sox. It was back on July 5th. The Welland Jackfish just haven't played a lot of baseball games since then in July. There was a bunch of games that got smoked out or rained out, but he gave up 12 hits over 5 2/3 in that start. Threw a ton of pitches, gave up 7 earned runs, so not his best work. So would love to bounce back in this start here today. An ERA of 5.67 on the year. That one swung on and missed by Brando LaRue, and the count's 2-2. He's pitched 7 times in the Canadian Baseball League. 3 of them have been against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Had one really good start. It was his first one in the Canadian Baseball League back on May 31st. As Brando LaRue hits this one on the ground to the shortstop, Smybert. Quick throw on to first in time to get the speedy Brando LaRue, and that's the first out. Quinones in his first start in the Canadian Baseball League, went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, not a single earned run against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he's pitched pretty good against Toronto. It's just kind of been the other teams that have been more of an issue, but he's been a Toronto specialist for this Welland Jackfish team so far in his short career.
11 1/3 innings pitch. He's only given up 2 earned, and like you said, phenomenal job. But if you're the Maple Leafs here, you got to hop on what has been a tough little stretch here for the side of Quinones.
Yasiel Puig at the dish now. And he takes upstairs. 2-0 count on the Maple Leaf slugger, who leads the Canadian Baseball League in home runs with 10 on the season. And Puig with a huge swing and fouls it off.
Huge swing, then a huge lick of the bat afterwards.
Yeah, that's something we see from time to time when Yasiel Puig fouls that ball off the barrel. Here's the 2-1. Puig lines one into the outfield. This one's down and one hop up against the wall. Yasiel Puig is thinking about two. Abe has it. Throw back into the infield, and Puig is in there. And he has himself a double.
Good running there by Puig. He hustled to first base. He looked up, saw that Abe was still getting towards that ball at the fence, and that's when he turned on the Jets coming around first base.
Jordan Mandalay with his first at-bat back here in a couple of games at the Christie Pits. And the Maple Leafs have him right in the 3 spot, right in the thick of things. The 40-year-old second baseman has been a solid hitter in the Maple Leafs lineup this season. Mandalay scoring a bunt on the first pitch and takes a strike. Jordan Mandalay hitting .379. Was leading the team in that category before he got injured, and then Yasiel Puig caught fire, and he's right up there with him now. Quinones pitch upstairs to Mandalay, 1-1.
Yeah, I mentioned the offense hasn't really been the issue with this team. A lot of it has come down to the pitching staff and getting things rolling on that side of the ball. But now, you know, you have the pitching giving you the opportunities in the game, keeping you within these ball games. The offense, they've caught fire, and they're looking really strong.
There's the 1-1 to Jordan, and now time is called. Mandalay with 3 home runs. Some of them have been big ones for the Maple Leafs this season. He's only walked a couple of times, loves to swing the bat. Mandalay takes up and away. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks. Just puts the ball in play like crazy, and that's why his batting average has been so high in his career. A .348 hitter in the regular season over his 2-year career in the Canadian Baseball League.
I think he was at work till 7.
Oh, I thought you were with Cookie all this time.
No. Jen's not getting the hint.
I was busy.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, and now another step off by Quinones. He'll go back to touch the rosin bag. And now the catcher Grant is going to come out to the mound. Good chance to go over the defense for the Welland Jackfish today. It's Johnson at third base, then Smybert at short, Weisner at second, and Ethan Mann at first. Logan Grant doing the catching today. Daike Abe in left field, Gio Morello in center, and Justin Gideon out in right. 1 out in the inning. Yasiel Puig with his 1-out double stands on second base. That pitch misses low. Good take from Mandalay. He's usually swinging at everything close, but knows that there are some good and also very hot hitters coming up behind him with Marcus Connect and Dennis DeBanning, so he'll get on base any way he can. Quinones a couple of head shakes to the catcher Grant. Now gets his sign on the 3-1 pitch to Mandalay. And it's outside, ball 4. Just barely. Quinones made a pretty good pitch, and Jordan Mandalay takes his 3rd walk of the season in his 24th game.
Yeah, maybe the new mindset's changed coming off the injury. You know, take a couple more pitches. Don't help out the pitcher.
He took some close pitches there. And, you know, our statistician, Gus Cousins, kind of picked up on something there. Yasiel Puig looks like he's relaying something from second base. Now, we've seen many times that just be a decoy, and Yasiel Puig has been known to have some antics out there at times. So we'll see. But, I mean, he would be looking at, well, we'll see if we can see the catcher signs. I would assume that the Jackfish are mixing it up. I think that would be pretty tough to to pick up if you're looking at the sign there. So that one's fouled off by Connect. He could, though, be looking into Quinones' glove, and if that's the case, that's just an adjustment that needs to be made by Quinones. We did see Logan Grant go out to the mound, so maybe that was a conversation to say, hey, just, make sure you're covering the ball.
He's also signaling here, look at the hole on the right side. Shorten up, keep your elbow in. Puig, he's pointing every time towards right field.
This one's hit on the ground by Marcus Connect. It's a high chopper. This is going to be tough to get anyone out. There was a little bit of interference at second base, and they call Jordan Mandalay out. He does not like that. Mandalay is motioning right now at second base like, I jumped out of the way. What am I supposed to do? And right away, there's a conversation with the umpires. Jordan Mandalay cannot believe that he was called for interference. Now he's motioning exactly what he did, going right to the spot of the crime.
They're going to have a conversation about this, I believe. But, yeah, hey, I mean, the extra visuals, Mandalay understands there's no replay, so just give him that extra look again.
So Mandalay still standing at second base, but I think this call is going to stand. Jordan Mandalay is not happy about it. And he's really frustrated. He thought he did everything right. And you got to give some credit to Mandalay, though. I mean, he's a guy who does know. I mean, this guy has been all over the baseball world. And I think I would have to trust him if he thinks he made the right play. You don't see Jordan Mandalay, get that agitated very often either.
They're putting Puig back on second base as well.
Well, I'm not sure how you could do that. I mean, Yasiel Puig obviously would have went to third. I mean, it was going to be tough to get anybody out on that play.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't understand why Puig would have to go back to the base. I mean, it's a play where it's a force where everybody has to advance no matter what. Right field.
Okay, here's another look at the play. This one's hit on the ground by Marcus. So here's the play. High chopper. This is going to be tough to get anyone out. There was a little bit of interference at second base, and they call Jordan Mandalay out. He does not like
that's
that.
What you want to do if you're the second baseman, but I mean, I don't fully understand why the runner Puig has to go back to second in this situation.
Yeah, that's the part that I would be most frustrated about if I'm the Maple Leafs. Like, we kind of just saw in that play there, like, Jordan Mandalay definitely did jump out of the way, but the timing of the jump, I think, was what was the problem. But Yasiel Puig going back to second, I mean, I just don't know how that could be possible. So we're going to get back underway here, and that was an unfortunate call against the Maple Leafs, and out-recorded 2 outs in the inning, and Yasiel Puig is still stuck at second base. You'd think that at least Marcus Connect would have been able to advance the runners on that play, let alone maybe beat it out at first base.
Well, I did some digging. Yes, it is the rule that runners must go back to the original base that they last legally touched, and because the ball is immediately called dead once the umpire calls for the interference.
Yeah. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and DeBanning takes outside. Yeah, I'm not in dispute of the rule. I'm just saying that is a tough break.
Yeah, very
for the Maple
unfortunate.
Leafs.
Very unfortunate break. I actually didn't know about the second part of that rule, so that's why I had to look it up there.
And Quinones is going to step off. So a little bit of adversity here early in the ball game. Quinones trying to get out of this inning. Dennis DeBanning seeing if he can turn the tide in the favor of the Maple Leafs. His check swing, did he go? No, says the umpire at first base. Well, that's one way to set the tone for the ball game, isn't it? First inning, and we've already got frustration on at least the side of the Maple Leafs. Two and one on Dennis DeBanning. And he takes one low. 3-1 count. Dennis might get a good pitch to hit with Spencer Ross looming on deck.
Puig still coaching out there at second. He's been signaling to Banning, stay calm, stay cool, don't be afraid to go opposite.
Banning does try to poke one the other way, but fouls it off, and the count's 3-2. We've seen Yasiel Puig motion that to hitters a lot. And the funny thing is that you'd think Yasiel Puig himself is a dead pull hitter, but if you look at kind of where Yasiel Puig's got his hits, he sprays it around all over the field too. So he's giving advice that it looks like he takes quite often when he's in the batter's box. Another 3-2 to DeBanning. Runners on the move. DeBanning fouls it off.
Yeah, I just want you to keep watching the hands that Puig has here. He's looking dead at DeBanning, and he's saying, go the other way, go the other way. The outfielder's playing you into a shift.
Yeah, the biggest example of that was early on in the season when J.J. Dutton was at the plate. Yasiel Puig said to J.J., hit the ball the other way, so he just said, okay, poked a little single through the right side, and ended up leading to a Maple Leafs victory. DeBanning fouling one off again, and it does look like he's making a conscious effort to kind of stay back. And, you know, even just thinking hit the ball the other way sometimes leads to a line drive that could be pulled or just good contact. Well, it was Smybert who had the long at-bat while Hennis Alvarado won the battle to get out of the top of the first inning. Now it's Dennis DeBanning at the dish. And he takes on the inside corner, strike 3 called. Quinones able to get himself out of a jam. Maple Leafs with a little bit of misfortune, and we are tied 0-0 after 1 here in Toronto. Well, back here at Dominico Field with Hennis Alvarado back on the mound, and the first pitch is swung on and missed by Justin Gideon. Top of the second inning, both teams got some runners on. Got things started with a little bit of controversy in the first inning, and the table is set for a great ball game here at Christie Pitts as that one just misses outside from Alvarado. Well, Hennis Alvarado got a big strikeout after a long at-bat to get out of the first inning, and then it was a pretty extended bottom half, so Alvarado was in the dugout for a while, but that was mostly just because of arguments, because of a runner interference ruling that took up a bunch of time.
Alvarado did look very good as well in that first inning of work. He had that off-speed working. I go back to that James Smybert at bat.
That was a pitch that was pretty close there. 3-1 now on Gideon. And Justin Gideon, a big swing and a miss there. Good pitch by Alvarado, behind in the count.
That was actually Alvarado that called that pitch. He initially shook off Matt Brandt and then finally got what he wanted. And it was that two-seam fastball.
And that one, strike 3 called. Wilhennis Alvarado gets another big punch out. This time it's Justin Gideon, and there's one away.
Well, I think early on he has a feel for that breaking ball right there. That was beautiful. He goes after Gideon right away with the fastball. And then it was an absolute beautiful backdoor breaking ball that just has Gideon frozen.
Now this one's hit on the ground by Robert Mullen, and that one's into the outfield for a base hit. Now they're one out base runner for the Welland Jackfish here, this time in the second. So Logan Grant, who's doing the catching today for the Welland Jackfish, will step in. Bottom third of the order here for the Jackfish. Mullen, the runner at first base. One of the few guys that won't steal a ton of bags on the Jackfish. Here's the 1-0 to Grant. That one misses outside. Robert Mullen has 1 stolen base on this season. The rest of his team has the other 108.
Yeah, that one is very important, though.
Wouldn't be 109 without Robert Mullen. Here's the 2-0. And this one's hit on the ground. High chopper. Randall LaRue has it at short. Flips on to Jordan Mandalay. And they'll get the force out. And there was going to be no play there for Mandalay to flip that one over for the double play with Grant running down the base path.
Yeah, if you're a Brando there, you play the ball in the right hop and you let it come down, you feed it over to Mandalay at second. You kind of notice that Mullen, he wasn't really hustling out from first to second, so it's an easy flip over there for the fielder's choice.
Just saw some of the out-of-town scores flipping through on the screen. The Maple Leafs might be putting the second screen on the Guelph Royals game. They're playing the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. Guelph is kind of the target for all the teams that aren't in the playoffs right now. Here's a bunt attempt by Morello, fouled to the backstop. Chatham-Kent has a 1-0 lead over Guelph. It looks like Guelph's going to be either the 4 or 5. Most likely the 5 seed, you'd have to think. But the Maple Leafs came off a game where they lost against them, and that put a dent in their playoff odds, because that's kind of one of those teams that they need to beat to try and make this miracle run to try and get back into the playoffs. This one's hit to center field. Ben Sidoranios goes back and then twisting and turning ends up making the catch, and that will end the inning. Another solid frame from Wilhennis Alvarado, who's kept the Welland Jackfish scoreless through 2. Now back here at Dominico Field, Spencer Ross is leading things off for the Maple Leafs. Yoelin Quinona is back on the mound. Certainly had an interesting bottom of the first inning, didn't he, Zach?
Yeah, and, you know, it started off with that Yasiel Puig kind of loud double, and then the chaos at second with Mandalay and Weisner. But he answered back nicely, was able to get a strikeout of Dennis DeBanding.
This is the right guy to have leading off an inning, Spencer Ross. Gets on base a lot for the Maple Leafs, although was 0 for 5 last game against the Kitchener Panthers. That was a very rare thing for Ross. So he's looking to get back in the on-base column again. Here's the 2-0. That pitch is up and in. Spencer Ross hitting .247 on the season. On base percentage of .337. Ross takes low. The average was a little bit higher, but he's 0 for his last 9. And Spencer Ross is a very important piece of this Maple Leafs lineup, so they need to get him hot again. And a 3-1 count here against Quinones. And swings that and hits one on the ground. And that's a can of corn there for Jonah Weisner. That's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Spencer Ross, like you mentioned, he's kind of just been an on-base machine throughout the entirety of this season, and Quinones does a really good job trying to get him behind there and with an outside pitch, just an easy grounder, like you said, can of corn over to Weisner.
This is Crix Tavares in the batter's box for the Leafs. Crix, a left-handed bat facing the righty Quinones. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that one's taken for a strike.
Crix Tavares has really been heating up as of late. Last couple of games, couple of home runs as well, just on a nice little hit streak he has going here, a 4-game.
Here's the 2-1, and this one's hit softly on the ground, takes a nice hop off the mound. Throw on to first base is picked at first by Ethan Mann. Boy, Weisner had a bit of an adventure. That ball took a right turn off the mound. It made a tough play, and the throw in the dirt, I mean, that is a dirty pick there from Ethan Mann.
Yeah, Ethan Mann has been a very healthy addition to the side of the Welland Jackfish. Does a lot of good things for them. And right there saves a nice play there. Definitely could have been extra bases if that got through. Said it was a hit streak, by the way, for Crix Tavares. It's actually a 4-game on base streak.
Walks as good as a hit with some of the power that's in this Maple Leafs lineup. Here's Ben Sidorenios, has been out of the lineup for a little while for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's back and playing center field today. Haven't seen Sidorenios play a ton of center. But he is a good defensive player and really does it all for the Maple Leafs. He also pitches. 1-1 now on Sidorenios. That pitch, a strike taken on the outside corner. One game now between the Royals and the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, as that one's fouled off at home plate by Sidorenios. Sidorenios hits one on the ground. This is a high chopper to James Smybert. His throw to first just in time to get Sidorenios. That was a close play, and it ends up being a 1-2-3 inning for Welland Quinones, and the Maple Leafs go down in order in the second. This is the third baseman, Carson Johnston, leading things off. Top of the third inning, Johannes Alvarado back on the mound for the Maple Leafs, and Johnston takes ball one. Strike one. It's not a very pronounced call at home plate. More of an auditory call for strikes rather than a visual one. Here's the 1-1. Fouled off. Carson Johnson is hitting .282 on the season for the Jackfish. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And this one's hit on the ground foul towards third base.
Johnson in the number 9 spot has Daike Abe and Jonah Weisner right behind him. He watches that one high. Count goes even up here, 2-2. Alvarado has looked solid so far through 2 innings, trying to start off the third the same way, and this one will be high. Count runs full here, 3-2. Here comes the full count pitch, lifted into right field. Connect has to go back, and that's going to be over his head off the wall. And he'll hold Johnson to a long single to start off the third inning. That one right there off the bat just kind of kept rising towards the wall. Connect, his initial move was breaking in. And the second he saw that ball kind of continue to rise on a line, he had to quickly get back, but by the time that happened, he was out of place. Back to the top of the order, and Daike Abe grounded out to second his last time up. It was a Jordan Mandalay, the first play of the ball game, kind of bobbled it a little bit, but stayed with the play and was able to get the speedy Abe. Again, Daike Abe up there in a lot of the offensive categories. He's been a healthy addition here. Ground ball to second. They spin and get the lead runner at second, and that'll be out number 1. That's the third fielder's choice we've seen so far. Alvarado doing a good job missing bats, but it's a dangerous part of the order. Abe at first now. A man who leads the league in stolen bases by 6, with Jonah Weisner, who's kind of right behind him. He has 14 on the year. First pitch to Weisner, high and inside, missing. Weisner singled his first time up and then was out on the fielder's choice by Ethan Mann. If you're Matt Brandt and Alvarado, you got to kind of keep a close eye here on Abe, who has a healthy lead over there at first already. Well, Hennis wasn't even on the mound yet, and Abe was already leading off. They pick off. They throw over to 2, and Alvarado, that's going to be a balk. Abe, the speed again kind of kills. He stepped off towards first. Tossed the ball over to second, and now there'll be a runner on second base with Weisner still at the plate in a 1-0 count. Fastball in there for strike 1 on Weisner. Through 3 seasons, Jonah Weisner has continued to just grow as a player. Came into the league, batted .395 in 24 games. That was back in 2024. Last season got a full dose of action. Hit .349 with 6 home runs, 34 RBIs. Very, very tough batter here for the side of the Jackfish. He has 1 runner in scoring position. That's Abe. Long look back by Alvarado, and Weisner lifts this deep right field, high off the Metal Monster. They're going to send Abe all the way home, and no play will be made. It's Jonah Weisner in there with another double and another RBI. His league-leading 14th double and league-leading 41st RBI of the season. There's going to be a meeting on the mound here with Alvarado, and it just kind of looked like Alvarado went to the well one more time with that breaking ball, and Jonah Weisner just sat back on it and was able to crush it into right field. That'll bring up Ethan Mann, the first baseman here for the Jackfish. Another situation with a runner in scoring position and only 1 out in the inning. Weisner, another one of those guys who has plus speed, as Mann will drop this into the left center gap. Weisner on his horse. He'll be in there scoring, and Ethan Mann is in the second with a stand-up RBI double. We get back to the top of the order, and the Welland Jackfish have begun to show why they're one of the more dominant offensive teams here in the CBL this year. Abe reaches on a fielder's choice, and we have back-to-back RBI doubles. And it doesn't get easier here. Gideon comes up to bat, and he lifts this one foul territory, and that'll be able to play foul. Breaking ball low and away missing. Looked like Alvarado had a feel for that breaking ball early in the first. Hasn't been able to find it here in this inning, trying to get back into the zone with the slider. Fastball, called a strike in the outside corner. Gideon went down looking back in the second inning to lead things off. Here comes the 1-2. Lifted up the hill, foul. James Smybert, apologies. Smybert frozen for strike 3, his second strikeout of the ball game. And that's a big response there by Johannes Alvarado.
Just got back from a little expedition down to center field.
Yeah, I watched you run.
Yeah, always get to notice like a different element of the game when I'm going to fix technical issues, but boy is the ball ever carrying off the bat. Both of those balls that ended up going off the wall just kept sailing and sailing, and you could see the break by Marcus Connect as here's a slow tapper by Justin Gideon. Glove flip to first in time to get him. The wily veteran, Jordan Mandalay, with a nifty play to end the inning and help Johannes Alvarado. The Welland Jackfish end up scoring a couple of runs, lead 2-0 over the Maple Leafs here at Christie Pitts. Back here at Dominico Field, catcher Matt Brandt leading things off for the Maple Leafs. Yolan Quinones has a bit of run support now. He's got 2 of them. Maple Leafs trying to answer. Matt Brandt bounding ball up the middle, and that one's into center field for a base hit. Tipped off the glove of James Smybert, and now Matt Brandt's digging for 2, and he might have caught the Jackfish sleeping. Matt Brandt turns it into a double to lead off the inning. heck of a play by the Maple Leafs catcher. He saw Gio Morello was just kind of gliding in for that ball. It was a routine everyday single. Morello flipped the ball back in. I don't think anyone even on the infield called that Matt Brandt was sprinting to second base. And there he is in scoring position to lead off the inning.
Yeah, he noticed that Morello also didn't get a clean approach to the ball. It kind of got away from him. And Brandt, like you said, he had his head up running the entire time.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bobble in center field, but that's a heads-up play by Matt Brandt. So here's Brando LaRue back to the top of the order. 0-1 the count on him. That pitch misses low. Here's the 1-1. LaRue pops it foul back behind home plate. One and two on the Maple Leaf shortstop. And Brando hits one hard on the ground. Diving stop at third base by Carson Johnson. Throw on to first in time. What a play on the defensive side for the Welland Jackfish. Carson Johnson makes the diving stop, gets up, and makes a perfect throw on to first.
Yeah, we know how wild these hops here can be at Christie Pitts, but credit to Carson Johnson right there. Laid all the way out for that one, was able to make a nice grab, get to his feet in time, get a speedy runner in Brando LaRue. Yeah,
it does hold the runner Matt Brandt at second base, but I mean, you know, it probably wouldn't have been, but I mean, could have been a double play ball if Matt Brandt hadn't had that heads-up play to dart into second. So he's still in scoring position. Good place to be for Yasiel Puig, who takes inside. That one nearly missed the front kneecap of Yasiel. Yasiel Puig. And a 1-0 count here as Quinones steps off. So Yasiel just hitting himself with the bat in the batter's box. And I think he was taken all the way for a strike.
What gave it away?
Puig just didn't even put the bat on the shoulder, just kind of watched.
He's fighting the flies up there right now. Trying to swat one away.
Puig takes high, and he's ahead in the count. Yasiel Puig, the DH today for the Maple Leafs. Hitting .386 coming into the game today. The 2-1. And Puig goes the other way. This one struck pretty well, but he might have got it off the end of the bat. Catch made by Justin Gideon to record the out.
Yeah, you can kind of see when Puig misses it, he knows right away. And that time, he knew he got a pretty good pitch to hit, and he just kind of got it off the end of the bat.
Yeah, just missed the barrel by maybe an inch. He's got plenty of power to hit that ball out to the opposite field, so that'll bring Jordan Mandalay to the plate. We mentioned the .386 batting average. Well, Mandalay was right behind Yasiel. And another guy who can drive runners in with a single. Swinging at the first pitch, and that was a mighty cut from Jordan Mandalay. How about that play by Mandalay to end the inning? Little glove flip onto first base.
Defensive specialist for a reason.
You know, it's funny because he started the game by actually dropping a ball at second base. He still made the play, he recovered beautifully, but you could see he was kind of frustrated with himself and kind of telling him, you know, put your glove right through the baseball, and since then he's been excellent. This one goes off the glove of Quinones, and it goes right to Weisner. He throws on to first to get the out. Oh, that was a friendly bounce for the Welland Jackfish. Quinones deflects it to Weisner, who makes a throw on the money to first base. Maple Leafs strand a runner in scoring position. The Jackfish lead 2-0 at Christie Pitts. Beautiful night for a ball game here at Christie Pitts. Maybe the most people we've seen along the hillside since the first couple weeks of the season. It's packed, and a lot of that is just because it's turning into a really nice evening, not a cloud in the sky.
Not a cloud in the sky. I can see the grand old moon, the waxing gibbous.
Yeah, it's starting to wax a little more than we had a couple nights ago.
Good term.
Such a great shot.
Yeah, it's just the time of the night, really.
There's the 1-1. That one's upstairs. Johannes Alvarado had that breaking ball kind of slip out of his hand. Robert Mullen had a single in his last at-bat. Here's the 2-1. And Mullen destroys this ball to left field, and that one is way out of here. It was a frozen rope up into the top of the trees, and the Jackfish lead 3-0.
Just a really good A-plus swing right there to Robert Mullen. And again, he's a guy who's been torching hitters in this league for years. He does it yet again.
Yeah, we saw Alvarado miss arm side with the breaking ball, so Robert Mullen on the next pitch just sat all over the fastball, and he was actually early on it. He was guessing so hard to that fastball. So here's Grant, the catcher. And Logan Grant takes ball one. Logan Grant, the 24-year-old out of Calgary, Alberta. 1-0 pitch misses low. Now he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Played on a bunch of different teams in the Western Canadian Baseball League before coming here to the Welland Jackfish. Was teammates with Brendan Luther on the Okotoks Dogs most recently. There's the 2-0 pitch. And then continued to be teammates with his now teammate Brendan Luther when they played for the Bellevue Bulldogs, or Bruins I should say, in the NAIA. And the count 3-0 here as Johannes Alvarado tries to get back in the strike zone. Right down the, just low. Ball 4. Grant will head down to first base.
Center fielder number 11, Gio Morello.
3-1 Barrie Baycats. 4-0 Hamilton Cardinals on the out-of-town scoreboard. And the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. Good news for the Maple Leafs, I guess. Have a 6-1 lead over Guelph. I mean, Chatham's behind them right now in the standings, but if the goal is to make the playoffs, Guelph is the team. Every other team, you just kind of got to assume you're going to outplay them.
Yeah, in the standings, it's really kind of just Guelph and Hamilton at the moment that are towards that bottom side.
It's kind of just them that are interesting right now in the standings. I mean, each individual game's interesting. I mean, the Canadian Baseball League is great, but like the season as a whole right now is pretty much decided other than those 2 spots, and then just kind of who's going to be the top 3. This is a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. Gio Morello gets it past the diving Brando LaRue, and there's 2 on with nobody out here for the Jackfish.
Yeah, well, and this is when they can get scary. They score in bunches.
Third baseman number 13, Carson Johnson.
Nice to meet you.
3-0 Jackfish looking to add on with Johnson at the plate. And he takes way inside. Carson Johnson, a 23-year-old of Hamilton, made an unbelievable defensive play an inning ago.
Absolute web gem.
Okay, so that answers that question.
Here's the 1-0. Check on the runners to make sure they're not straying off the bag too far. Alvarado falling behind another Jackfish batter here.
You got to see Matt Brand. He took that almost throw down, and he kind of puts his head to the sky saying, you know, maybe I had a chance at first.
2-0 pitch, fouled off.
So Johnson trying to do his best right now to flip the order here. 2-1 count, ahead in the order. Top of the order looming on deck. He's squaring a bunt. Again, Brandt thought about snap throwing down, but holds on to it here. Both runners were kind of taking pretty extended leads. 3-1 count here on the number 9 hitter. Alvarado needs to attack. Here's the pitch. And he gets Johnson swinging through it here for strike 2. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Check on the runner at second. Here's the delivery, and again, he got him. Will Hennis Alvarado gets a big-time punch out of the number 9 hitter, Carson Johnson, for out number 1.
That was just straight-up clutch there from Will Hennis Alvarado. He looked like he was fading a little bit in this inning, getting behind in the count, and got behind in the count again in that at-bat, but found a way to battle back and get the strikeout. So Daike Abe will come to the dish. Abe is the left fielder today for the Jackfish. Abe hails out of Yamagata, Japan, stands at 5'7". This pitch is up and in. Actually just turned 27 years old, had a birthday a couple of days ago. Before this, he was playing in the Colombian Winter League. There's the 1-0 to Abe. That one misses down and away. Abe is a tough guy to double off. He has excellent speed. So good that he has 27 stolen bases on the season.
Leading the way in the Canadian Baseball League.
Abe takes low, 3-0. You don't want to load the bases here, but Abe also is just so good if you throw a fastball in the zone.
It really is just kind of pick your poison here with Abe and Wisner. Jonah Wisner already has snake bitten Alvarado in this one for the RBI double.
3-0 the count now. And that pitch is at the top of the zone for a strike. You'd think that it would just be all Welland Jackfish at the top of things in the stolen base department, but Jonah Wisner's in 5th with 14, way behind his teammate. It's really spread out beyond Abe just having 27 of them on the year. And Abe hits this one down the line. Fair ball just inside the chalk line. This one's going to bounce up against the wall and score 1 run for the Jackfish. It's an RBI double for Abe, and Welland out to a 4-0 lead.
Just a really great piece of hitting. I don't know what else you can say about it. Abe just turns on the inside fastball, places it just inside of that right field line, and then once he sees it lands, he just turns on the jets, and he is on his way to second standing.
Abe with his 7th double of the season. And now a mound visit from Brian Sewell to check on his pitcher Alvarado, who's throwing a lot of pitches in the inning. Abe will almost undoubtedly score on a single if Jonah Wisner can do that from second base. So Daike Abe, we mentioned he has 27 stolen bases. The Maple Leafs have as a team, have 26 stolen bases on the season.
He swipes them with the best, and it's tremendous, tremendous to see.
Here's Wisner. First pitch swing and hits one on the ground to Brando LaRue. Bobbles it, picks it up, and there's no play. Run comes in to score, 5-0 Welland. Run was definitely going to come in to score, but the Maple Leafs would have loved to record an out there. Bring the first baseman Ethan Mann to the dish. Alvarado still trying to get out of this inning. Mann takes the first pitch ball from Alvarado. I mean, you know, Hennis Alvarado maybe could have got a little bit better luck with balls in play, could have got maybe a little bit better defense in this inning, but Zach, the big thing is trying to get ahead with strike one. He hasn't done that a lot in this inning. Yeah,
he started off this ball game really, really well.
Ground ball to third base. Spencer Ross steps on third, throws on to first. In time, double play. Spencer Ross helps Wilhennis Alvarado get out of what was a long inning. The Welland Jackfish tack on 3 more and now lead 5-0 over Toronto. Welcome back to Dominico Field. Thomas West alongside Zach Benoit. This is Marcus Connect leading things off for the Maple Leafs. Quinones enters into the bottom of the 4th inning. He got in a bit of trouble in the first, but since then has been excellent as Connect takes strike 1. Marcus Connect hitting .247 on the season. Chops one on the ground. This one's right back to the mound. Quinones plays it on a funny hop. Flips on to first in time to get the out, and Connect is retired. Dennis DeBanning is 0 for 1 today, struck out in his first at-bat. Talking to Dennis DeBanning before the game, I get the feeling that DeBanning is a guy who's not like particularly analytically inclined, because we were kind of, I was chatting with him and a couple other players before the game about like, batting averages and stuff and yada yada, whatever, right? Like it's so fun to talk about that kind of stuff with baseball players. And I told DeBanning, I was like, what are you hitting, like 290 on the year? And I think he guessed like 270, which is just like wrong by a lot. But isn't that like, most baseball players you'd think would know their batting average, right?
Yeah, some do, some don't. It kind of just dies on the hill of are they stat watchers for themselves, or is it somebody that kind of goes by the feel of the game?
DeBanning strikes out on that pitch, and that's 2 away. Just to finish that point, though, I think that's a good thing for Dennis DeBanning. Like, he's a guy that is not in his own head. Like, he's one of those flow state guys at the plate, see ball, hit ball, take what the pitcher gives you. If I'm the Maple Leafs coaching staff, I like that approach. So Spencer Ross, 2 outs in the inning. And Ross dishes one into the outfield, and that is a diving catch by Justin Gideon to end the inning. Ross is a bit snake-bitten right now, and Justin Gideon just made an excellent defensive play for the Welland Jackfish as they get a 1-2-3 inning and lead 5-0 over Toronto. Well, Zach, we've been talking a lot about the stolen bases on the side of the Welland Jackfish. Here are the numbers right now of stolen base leaders in the Canadian Baseball League. So Abe, you see there, he's got 27 on the year, and he just has a mile lead over Zeppieri. But, I mean, the reason there aren't so many Welland Jackfish, up there right at the top, you can see them down at the bottom, is because, like, everyone you see from, like, the 5 to 10 is Welland Jackfish. They've all got, like, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like, I just have to think that having that many stolen bases is something that is good in the playoffs, even more in the regular season.
You just put tons of pressure on the pitching staffs of other teams when you're moving around on the bases like that.
I mean, your speed's not going to go away in the playoffs. Hitting singles, too, that's something that's sustainable as well. Home runs seem to be the thing that kind of go away, and those can be an X factor, but Jackfish, I think, are set up really well for the playoffs, and it looks like they're going to be in one of those top 3 spots. Here's Smybert. He takes low, and the count's now 1-1. Lot of pitches from Welland Alvarado in the 4th inning, and then he didn't get much rest because it was a quick 1-2-3 inning on the other side. So he's right back out there on the mound. I've always felt like that's tough as a pitcher when, you know, because we're both pitchers. You go out there, your team, you know, has like a 5-minute inning when you're really looking to just kind of like sit down and get some rest for a while. It's tough, right? When you don't have that much time to recover after a long inning.
Yeah, trying to get some water, relax, catch your breath.
1-2 pitch, hit on the ground, and it's Brando LaRue gets the tough hop, whips onto first in time. What a play. Brando LaRue able to harness the Christie hop to his advantage and get the out.
Yeah, he waited for the hop, and he kind of just took off. Topspin galore on that ball.
Yeah, Brando LaRue is always out there taking ground balls before the game. A bunch of his teammates have followed in suit, and it's because Brando LaRue's dad goes and hits the ground balls for them before the game. So he's a big help in that regard. It's always great. I mean, you know, I think back to last year, it's usually a Maple Leafs player that has to do it. Last season, it was actually either Ayami Sato or Adam Mara who would hit the ground balls to the Maple Leafs players, both of them pitchers. I think I saw Sato last season hitting ground balls on a start day, some of the infielders. So always nice when you can have someone else come and do that. Justin Gideon made an unbelievable defensive play to end last inning and now takes inside, so the count's 1-2. 1-2. Alvarado taking a little bit extra time here. And Gideon rips it foul. Someone's barbecuing.
Smells good, too.
Mm-hmm.
Think they'd be nice enough to share with the broadcast table?
Nice enough, yes. They won't, though.
Yeah, okay. You know, I thought I'd put it out there. Maybe they have the stream open.
Justin Gideon's cooking up a nice battle at home plate right now. The 1-2 pitch. And it's strike 3 called on the outside corner. Alvarado wins the battle and gets the punch out, and now here comes Mullen with 2 away. Boy, did Robert Mullen ever hit a ball hard in his last at-bat. Hit it probably 30 feet clear of the left field wall, well inside the foul pole for a solo home run.
Yeah, he said it. He was out in front of a fastball that he was able just to lift over that wall.
And Alvarado follows in suit by starting with a breaking ball in this at-bat. Although the breaking ball is not as effective when it's a right-handed batter. So against the lefties, it's devastating. Here's the 1-0. Mullen hits it on the ground to short. This is going to be a long throw for Brando LaRue, and it's right on the money. Boy, Brando had a little bit of a defensive gaffe last inning and then came back and made 2 sparkling defensive plays for the Maple Leafs. And Welland Alvarado, the fatigue didn't hurt him. He got through a 1-2-3 inning, holds the Welland Jackfish at 5 for now. Toronto Maple Leafs in some need of some runs here in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 5-0 to the Welland Jackfish. I'm Thomas West. Alongside me is Zach Benoit. Crix Tavares leading things off. And he takes upstairs. Crix Tavares has the batting average up to .245 now on the season. And now he lines one into center field. That's a base hit. And Crix Tavares with a loud single. And this could end up being a double. Tavares into second base. He's making the turn to third. And he's in there. It'll probably go down as an error on the center fielder, Gio Morello, who's having some trouble with ground balls into the outfield. But Crix Tavares stands at third base to lead off the 5th.
Yeah, that actually bounced and missed the glove completely of Morello. It just kind of went right between his legs. And after the play, Tavares kind of just ate the bag. He fell right onto third, and a big cloud of dust and dirt kind of just spewed up.
Yeah, then looked right back on the dugout and did Luis Florentino's save celebration. Here's Ben Sidorenios. Takes low and away. I'm still trying to figure out what the flying bird celebration is. Crix Tavares and Yasiel Puig have been doing it when they hit home runs. Sidorenios with a great chance for a run batted in here. Fouls that pitch off, and the count's now 1-1. 1 run's okay for the Maple Leafs here. I mean, you don't need the big inning yet, but I think the focus for Ben Sidorenios, just put a ball in play here. See if you can score Crix Tavares.
It all starts with 1.
Quinones has been in some trouble before, but has been able to get out of it every time. This is the biggest challenge he'll face in this game. Sidorenios reaching out, trying to put that ball in play, but fouls it off again. Two and 1 on the Maple Leafs center fielder, or 1 and 2, I should say, on the Leafs center fielder. And that pitch outside now 1 and 1, or 2 and 2. Sidorenios hitting .231 on the season. Last played on July 23rd. Last night against the Kitchener Panthers. Sidorenios swings and misses at that pitch in the dirt. Throw down to first base is in time. One out in the inning, and Quinones is the first step of the way to getting out of this jam. Matt Brandt, ever since about 2 months ago, has been pretty locked in at the plate for the Maple Leafs. He's hitting .272 now on the year. Brandt fouls the first pitch off himself. He was the guy who hit that ball into center field. Gio Morello also had some trouble with the ball in center, and he advanced 1 extra base on the gaff. Crix Tavares is standing on third because of that, and Quinones is trying to bail out his center fielder and make sure it doesn't matter.
And you might think, you look at Matt Brandt's average compared to some of the other guys in the league and think, oh, it's only .272. How good can he have really been? But you got to remember to yourself, he started probably in the high hundreds. He's been climbing this for the past 2 months. The start of the season was a little bit rocky for Brandt, and then something has just clicked, and he has looked like a completely different hitter at the plate.
He was basically forced into this position for the Maple Leafs because there was just no one else at the catching position, and he's been up to the task. Here's the 0-2 in the dirt. That's a good take there from Matt Brandt. You could see Maple Leafs hitters were, you know, kind of thinking along the same thought process we were, was just swinging anything, just get a ball in play. But Quinones is a good pitcher. If he makes a good pitch, you're probably not going to hit it, so you do have to pick your spot. 1-2. Brant takes in the dirt. This one gets to the backstop. Crix Tavares will dash home, and the Leafs are on the board.
Well, it all starts with one run there. Crix Tavares does a good job reading it right out of the dirt there and got away from the back catcher. And Quinones was not covering either.
Yeah, I think he just assumed that Crix Tavares was going to score. He was probably right. But that does relieve a little bit of the pressure for the Maple Leafs because Quinones was looking pretty locked in. He got the strikeout that he needed, had 2 strikes on Matt Brant, and it would have been an unfortunate situation if the Maple Leafs didn't score in the 5th, but they find a way on the wild pitch. 2-2 to Brant. Just missed. Full count now. Brando LaRue, Yasiel Puig up next. Brant fouls it off at home plate. Just barely got a piece of it that time. Matt Brant has had hits in each of his last 2 games. Was 1 for 3, or 1 for 2, I should say. Had 3 plate appearances in the game against the Guelph Royals. Got the night off as Dionysius Chialtis did the catching against the Kitchener Panthers. The 2-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Quinones gets the punch out.
Yeah, he elevated the fastball, just a really good job there getting Brant to chase.
Well, Brando LaRue was the player of the game for the Maple Leafs against the Kitchener Panthers. Homered twice in that game. He's up to 5 home runs now on the year. And LaRue takes high.
If you're Brando here, do anything you can to try to get on base ahead of Puig. He's had 2 solid at-bats. He's seen the ball well. He's hit it hard. Get on base with Puig, and, this could be a very interesting game.
Brando LaRue has had multiple hits in 4 straight games now for the Leafs. Batting average up to .311 on the season. 1-1 the count now.
I mentioned it from time to time that it's a good building piece to have around a team is Brando, and he's kind of just lived up to that here since joining the Maple Leafs.
Now, Brando LaRue was traded over from the Guelph Royals at the beginning of the season. I think Brando did have a lot of strong ties to that Guelph Royals team, but came to the Maple Leafs with the knowledge that he was going to be the starting shortstop and he was absolutely going to play every day. The 1-2 pitch, LaRue hits a one-hopper, high one-hopper off the lip of the grass, and a nice play by James Smybert to throw him out, and that will end the inning, but the Maple Leafs are on the board. Crix Tavares singles, makes his way to third, and then scores on a wild pitch, and it's 5-1 here at Christie Pitts. Back here at Dominico Field, 5-1 lead for the Welland Jackfish. This will be a 6th inning of work for Wilhennis Alvarado if he can get through it. Logan Grant is at the dish. That pitch is in there for a strike from Wilhennis Alvarado.
Grant 0 for 1 on the day, reached via the fielder's choice. That was back in the 2nd inning. He also walked and scored in the big 3-run inning.
1-0 pitch just misses from Alvarado. I mean, if Wilhennis Alvarado can get through 6 innings and allow 5 runs, I mean, that's a little more than the Maple Leafs would have wanted, but when they've been winning games, they've been scoring more than 5. Swung on and missed by Grant. The count's 2-2.
Maple Leafs just haven't been able to figure out the Welland Jackfish starter. They've gotten a couple of base runners. They've made hard contact, but they haven't been able to string those things together.
Due up this inning, Logan Grant, who's at the dish now. Gio Morello on deck. Carson Johnson in the hole. 3-2 count from Alvarado. And he struck him out. Check swing, he went around. Grant punched out to start the 6th. Gio Morello will come to the plate. Came into the game hitting .290.
Good call on that outside breaking ball by the back catcher, Matt Brandt.
Alvarado misses with the first pitch. Here's the 1-0. That one finds the zone on the outside corner. (8-1) Chatham-Kent Barnstormers over the Guelph Royals. The door is open for the Maple Leafs if they can get a comeback here against the Jackfish. Although the Jackfish bullpen is pretty good. We saw Danny Howitt warming up early on. And then, of course, Davey Mendez is always an option out of the pen. Here's 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 2-2. If it gets late in the game and the Jackfish have a lead, Davey Mendez has not pitched since July 18th, so he's had lots of days off. Tapper back to the mound. Alvarado has it. Lots of time. Flips on to first, and there's 2 away.
Again, it's another good job from Alvarado of commanding with that off-speed pitch. He has Morello kind of out in front of it, tops the ball. And that's an easy play just to flip over to first. Good response here for Alvarado, especially after the back-to-back innings where he allowed base runners and allowed runs. It looks like he's kind of settled into a groove.
First pitch to Carson Johnson, the third baseman, is ball 1. This is just the 4th game that the Jackfish have played since July 9th. They just haven't played a lot of baseball over this stretch here in July. That breaking ball from Alvarado misses outside. They are playing, though, tonight on back-to-back games. They had a 10-6 win over the Guelph Royals last night. And the Maple Leafs are on the back end of a 3-3. Here's the 2-0. And this one's golfed out to left field, and that one's down for a base hit. Carson Johnson rounding first base, and he is into second base with a stand-up double.
Good piece of all-around hitting right there for Carson Johnson. He kind of just waited back on this pitch. It was a breaking ball. It was a back foot slider that Alvarado was trying to sneak into the zone there, and Johnson did a good job reading it. You can see he kind of pulled his hands back, kept them back long enough, and was able to poke it right into left field.
So Daike Abe comes to the plate. First pitch to Abe just misses. Came into the game hitting .391 on the season. This bounce between being the leadoff hitter and the number 9 hitter, but when you hit .391 with 27 stolen bases, you just have to hit leadoff. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Abe takes a strike. This is the second game for the Jackfish of a 4-4 that they have coming up on their schedule. Next up, they have the Hamilton Cardinals, then the Kitchener Panthers on Sunday. They'll be at home tomorrow against Hamilton. The 1-1 pitch. Abe fouls it off. That's a big game against the Cardinals. They can end the conversation a little bit about Hamilton getting up into that top 3 in the standings. Maple Leafs are looking forward to a stretch where they only play the Brantford Red Sox and Chatham-Kent Barnstormers for a huge chunk of games. Here's the 1-2 to Abe. And this one's fouled off. So if Toronto were to lose today, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, if you could steal a win against the Jackfish, you have a soft part of your schedule coming up. And that's where the hope kind of comes in about the Maple Leafs getting themselves back into the race. Two and one the count to the speedy left fielder. And it's swung on and missed, strike 3. Well, Hennis Alvarado gets a couple of punch-outs in the inning, and the Welland Jackfish continue to lead by 4 over Toronto. These are the standings in the Canadian Baseball League as of the start of the games happening today. The Welland Jackfish with a win today and a Barrie Baycats loss could see themselves in first place, but the London Majors, if they win, then they're going to be right up there with the Welland Jackfish as well. It is tight at the top right now, and then the Toronto Maple Leafs battling it out with Brantford, Kitchener, and the heavy favorites Guelph for that final playoff spot. Basically, the way that you can look at it right now, if you're looking at odds for the Maple Leafs, they need to go 18-6 over these next games. Like, they basically have 6 losses left in the bank if they want to have a chance.
Yeah, and you mentioned all the all the standings and the current stipulations that are going on. Well, you look around the league tonight, London is making it tough on Barrie.
Puig laces one into center field. That's a sharply hit base hit to lead off the inning. And Gio Morello able to keep that one in front of him to hold Puig to a single.
Yeah, just around the league right now, top 6, Barrie and London. London actually are leading that one 4-3. Guelph and Chatham-Kent bottom 4. It's Chatham-Kent up 8-1 on the Royals. And bottom 5 between Hamilton and Kitchener. Hamilton 10-1 over the Panthers.
That's pretty good for the Maple Leafs, too, as long as you're assuming that Hamilton's not the team that you're going to have to beat in the standings. Jordan Mandalay does his usual bunt dance to start off the at-bat and takes ball 1. Barrie and London is just a great game, but the thing is that the only real battles right now, like just as of today, is who's going to have home field advantage in the playoffs. Mandalay slashes one down the line, and this one's going to fall and get past Gideon all the way to the wall. Yasiel Puig will move into third, and Mandalay slides into second base with a double. Puig took as little time as he could getting to third base, but got in there.
Puig looked over his left shoulder, and he saw that Gideon was still trying to get the ball into the infield, and then he looked over again, and the second baseman Weisner was throwing it, and he said, I got to hustle. I got to get down there.
I think Puig just was kind of timing that up, knew he didn't have to run too hard to get to third base, but I don't think he wanted to slide. Like, I don't think that was in the cards, and then he saw Rob Butler dusting him off there. Maple Leafs have something cooking here in the 6th. Jordan Mandalay, welcome back to the lineup. He has been a sight for sore eyes for the Maple Leafs. Connect, fouls this pitch off.
So you mentioned, the upcoming schedule for the Maple Leafs. 5 out of the 6 games they have are against, either Chatham-Kent or Brantford. They have one game sandwiched in between there and with the Hamilton Cardinals. Say the Maple Leafs are able to come back tonight, and are able to take all those games, maybe even the game against Hamilton. That's a stretch of games where you can really turn your season completely in that aspect. If they won out to this point up until the game on August 7th, they would be one game under 500.
Yeah, like they probably won't do that. Like just like the law of odds say that they won't. But I mean, Chatham-Kent and Brantford right now are the most beatable teams in the Canadian baseball league. That's just the way it is. And I mean, Brantford actually is a pretty good team, so those are going to be tough games. The Chatham-Kent Barnstormers,
they just had so much rotation.
Yeah, they've just lost their players because they're doing too well. They do too well, and they move up to the next league, whether it's Morrison getting drafted by the Texas Rangers or, it's a player moving to the Chinese Professional Baseball League. So it's great to see for those players individually, but for the Barnstormers, it's tough. So the Maple Leafs, well, they're happy about that because they moved past them in the standings as this one's down and away. So Chatham's just had some bad luck. They're pretty much out of it. They have like a pretty much 0% chance to make the playoffs. The Maple Leafs don't have a great chance either, but if they win today, the conversation is worth having. Here's the 1-1. Connect, fouls it off. Got a pretty good cut on that pitch from Quinones.
The next stretch of games, like you mentioned, a lot of it's Chatham and Brantford. You have a small window where they'll see London twice, Guelph and Kitchener, but then you're right back to having 5 out of 6 games against the Brantford Red Sox or the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers.
Connect with a check swing and did not go around. Boy, it was close. That would have been a strikeout. Quinones really needs a strikeout in this situation. Well, the whole conversation we're having is kind of a moot point if the Maple Leafs don't cash in this inning. Huge at-bat here for Marcus Connect. And he hits a tapper back to the mound. Quinones snags it, throws home, and they've got Puig in a rundown. He scampers back towards third and now is in there. Connect will get to second base. So the out is recorded, but boy, the Maple Leafs kind of made the best of a bad situation there because they've still got runners on second and third. Now there's one out.
Yeah, tough go of things there. I mean, that was snow-coned in the glove of Quinones, and it just got a lot of luck on his side. That probably scores the one run connect. It's going to be a close play at first if it gets over the pitcher there. But, yeah, just a lot of good luck going the way to Welland right there.
I mean, if Puig had held his ground, I mean, that could have either been a double play or just not had a runner at second base. That's kind of a good situation for the Maple Leafs. This is not, though. This one's popped up on the infield. Catch made at first by Ethan Mann, and now there's 2 away. Huge pressure now on the shoulders of Spencer Ross. Been in a bit of a slump, hit a ball really well in his last at-bat, and got robbed by Justin Gideon. He made an unbelievable diving catch. So see if Spencer Ross can think about the hard contact, put the result behind him, and come through in one of the bigger spots of the season for the Maple Leafs. And he takes strike 1. Perfect pitch from Quinones. Here's the 0-1, Spencer Ross. And Ross takes strike 2. 0-2 the count, and Quinones is 1 strike away from getting out of a really tough situation to start the inning. Crick Tavares on deck, hopeful of an at-bat. All eyes here on Spencer Ross, and he swings and taps one foul back towards home plate. He just got a piece of it.
You have to kind of go into a fight or flight mode here if you're Ross. Anything close, you just have a defensive hack like that. And if you like it in your wheelhouse, that's when you get the ace swing off. Everything else is just kind of that defensive approach.
Ross had to foul off a ball there, now has another 0-2 pitch, and it's up high. Ross wouldn't chase that high fastball from Quinones. Here's the 1-2. Ross takes high again. Quinones maybe just overthrowing those fastballs. Ross doesn't chase up high very often. Maple Leafs had runners in scoring position with nobody out. Quinones has found a way to keep them from scoring. And Ross fists one on the ground. Sliding play at second base by Wisner, and he throws on to first to get the out, and the Jackfish get out of it. Quinones makes a great play himself to stop the Maple Leafs from scoring early on in the inning, and then does the rest with excellent location on some of his pitches. 5-1 Welland Jackfish here at the pits. Top of the 7th inning at the pits, and look who's back on the mound. Zach Wilhennis Alvarado is going to enter into his 7th inning of work. It's been all starting pitching so far on both sides for these two teams. Maple Leafs bullpen cannot have a lot of gas in the tank. Like Ronaldo DePaula, who's been the guy that they really like to use, has pitched 1+ innings in each of the last 2 days. So he's probably out of commission for tonight.
I was just going to mention for Alvarado, you mentioned this is exactly what he wanted to do, is go deep into the ball game. Outside of the 1 inning back in the 4th where he gave up 3, and that was kind of the inning that had the loudest contact, he's been solid.
Weisner hits one on the ground, and it gets off the glove of Jordan Mandalay. He was going to have to make a magnificent sliding play and did not, and Weisner will start the inning. It was Jonah Weisner who made a play kind of similar to that to end the last inning and stop the Maple Leafs from scoring, and you can see Mandalay, he's frustrated with himself. He makes that play a lot.
It's a tough overall play. You look at how it kind of bounced off the lip of the grass. It was a high bounce, hit the lip, and it kind of attacked a lot of topspin, and tough play going to your left there for a second baseman to make. Obviously, Mandalay, he holds himself to a high standard. He wants to be able to, make those kind of plays.
Ethan Mann takes inside. Ethan Mann's 1 for 2. He's now hitting .395 on the season. The 1-0 pitch. Mann swings and misses. Welland Jackfish still looking for a stolen base in this game today. And now they've got him picked off. Crick Tavares will flip down to second, and he's out. Jonah Weisner picked off. Wilhennis Alvarado had a balk on a similar pickoff move. This time he gets it right. Throws to Crick Tavares, and he records the out.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier in the ball game, he had the pickoff move where he stepped towards first, and the move, obviously, you got to throw over to first. He throws it over to second. This time around, he understands the situation, does a good job of just calmly getting over to Crick Tavares, and Tavares does the rest.
Ethan Mann hits that one foul. So right now he's just behind Wandy Cyprian for top 3 in batting average for qualified batters, hitting .395. Cyprian's hitting .405. Here's the 1-2. And Mann swings and misses. I'll bring James Smybert to the dish. Malik Williams is leading the Canadian Baseball League. He's hitting .444. What a season he's having. Noel McGarry-Doyle is hitting .426. Taika Abbey's sitting right now in 5th with a .391 batting average. James Smybert swings and misses at the first pitch breaking ball from Alvarado. Smybert, a .350 hitter, and an 0-2 count here against Alvarado. And he breaks his bat and lifts one to Brando LaRue, who records the out on the fly. Wilhennis Alvarado gets through a neat and tidy top of the 7th inning, and the Maple Leafs, who missed a golden opportunity to score last inning, will try and make up for it in the bottom of the 7th.
was right there again.
Back here at Dominico Field, Crix Tavares leading things off for the Maple Leafs. The Jackfish have a 5-1 lead. Toronto had second and third, nobody out last inning, did not score, so now they'll try and get something going again here against Quinones. Crix Tavares is the batter. And that one swung on and missed by Crix Tavares.
So meeting on the mound here. Go over just a couple sequencing, it looks like. So the count 0-1 here to Crix Tavares. Again, his bat has been heating up as of late. He's had a couple home runs. Currently rocking a 4-game on-base streak. And he lifts this. Deep right field. He's done it yet again. Crix Tavares. A solo shot. And he cuts the lead down. He's been swinging a red-hot bat as of late. A real factor in the lower part of the lineup, really making a push for his name to be moved up. Number 17 does it yet again here. Cuts it to a 3-run lead.
Are you like the Crix Tavares specialist or something?
I might be.
So just for some context there, every time I've left the mic, Crix Tavares has hit a home run. Last game I went down to fix the camera and put Zach on the call. Boom, Crix Tavares leads off the inning with a home run. I set down the headset once again. It's Zach Benoit and Crix Tavares connect again.
Me and Crix are gonna have a real long conversation after this game. Might be the running thing we got to do.
That's unbelievable. What are the odds of that?
Same spot too.
Exact same spot,
same
same
spot.
swing, same home run. Later in the game, off a starting pitcher, it was the exact same in the game against Guelph. So here's Ben Sidorenios. And he swings and misses. So the Maple Leafs get a run. They would have loved to get that big swing with runners on base. It is a solo home run, so it cuts the lead to 3. Here's the 1-2. Sidorenios, and it hit him. Hit him on the hand. Ben Sidorenios behind in the count. Doesn't make a huge effort to get out of the way. Just hangs in there, takes one for the team, and he's on first base. So things were looking bleak for the Maple Leafs after they didn't score last inning, and all of a sudden, they're back on, putting the pressure back on Quinones.
Right part of the lineup doing it as well. Number 9 into the leadoff man, Brando LaRue.
Here's the 1-0 pitch.
Yasiel Puig coaching again from the dugout. He's signaling over now to Ben Sidorenios. He's saying, don't need to throw over. Don't need to get yourself out here. We're in a situation where we can put up some runs. And he has his batting gloves in the hand, but you can see he's putting up 2 hands saying, stop trying to draw a throw over.
Yeah.
Sidorenios is getting a healthy lead over there at first.
The Maple Leafs are winning baseball games again, and Yasiel Puig is really engaged anytime the Maple Leafs have a chance. Brent hits a high chopper, tough to turn 2 on this one. Weiser's only plays to first, and he just gets Matt Brent to record an out.
Good hustle there by Sidorenios to get out of that double play, make sure it doesn't happen.
Here's Brando LaRue. He takes upstairs ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Brando LaRue finds himself in a hitter's count. Maple Leafs threatening here in the bottom of the 7th with a runner in scoring position. That's Ben Sidorenios. Two-0 pitch. That one finds the zone. LaRue taking all the way. Solo home run by Crix Tavares to get things started. Now the 2-1 pitch. And this one's hit in the air. Not deep. Center fielder makes the catch. That's Gio Morello, and there's 2 away.
Good moment here for Yasiel Puig. Again, he's been hitting the ball hard all over the diamond today. He's 2 for 3. The double and the single. He also popped out to right field, and we both kind of said it. On that pop out, it was really he just missed it. He stayed back a little bit and just missed the barrel, got off the end of the bat.
Two outs in the inning, and Puig with a huge swing at the first pitch.
You know he wants to do something here for the Maple Leafs. You got an opportunity to try to cut this to a 1-run lead. He's gotten off a couple A swings, hasn't been able to elevate it yet over, but it's been everything on a line so far today.
0-1 the count. Puig pointing the bat out to center field. And Puig hits one off the end of the bat. This one's tailing towards foul territory, and it'll get it a play. 0-2 the count now. Quinones has the base open to put Puig at first, but he's attacked him here on the first 2 pitches.
Well, it doesn't really get easier with Mandalay right behind Puig. Mandalay's just been making a ton of contact tonight. He's already come up with some big hits in certain moments.
Some nice protection now in the order for Yasiel Puig with Mandalay. Oh, 0-2 on the Maple Leaf star. And Puig gets one in the air. This one's high and deep to left field, and it's way out of here. Yasiel Puig with a mammoth home run, and the Maple Leafs are within 1.
And he took a minute to take a view at that one, sailing it over the skate park. You can see some lucky fans finally able to find the ball, but mentioned he can change this game with one swing of the bat, and that's exactly what he does.
That was a majestic home run over the left center field wall. There was absolutely no doubt about it. Pitching change. Looks like it's coming up here at Christie Pitts. Back here at Dominico Field, Yasiel Puig takes sole possession of first place in the Canadian Baseball League home run race. Zach with a mammoth home run.
Yeah, he hit that to deep left center field, and you can see the cars that are kind of parked back there. I'm pretty sure it either hit the car or cleared the car behind the skate park. A bunch of fans were going crazy. And yeah, that's the vehicle in question. Not the bus, not the Apple the Apple bus, but that black car right there. He got every stitch of that baseball. Said it was kind of a matter of time where he would elevate a baseball. He was hitting everything hard. It was on a line, not getting it up in the air. Finally got under a ball, and that was majestic.
Yorlan Mandalay to the dish. New pitcher into the game, Danny Howitt, will face Mandalay. Howitt comes in with an ERA just over 5. Last pitched on July 7th, where he went an inning and a third against the Guelph Royals. Mandalay takes strike 1. Gave up 2 hits, didn't allow an earned run over that outing, did Howitt. The 0-1 to Mandalay. He swings and misses. Oh, 2 on Mandalay. Takes just outside. Danny Howitt, part of the championship Welland Jackfish team last season. He's pitched 21 and a third innings. Struck out 12 over that stretch for the Jackfish. This is his now 3rd season with the team. The 1-2. Swung on and missed by Mandalay. Howitt comes in and gets the strikeout, but the Maple Leafs get a big swing from Yasiel Puig in the inning, and it's a 1-run ball game here at the pits. The day for Wellhennis Alvarado is over. Kyle Pops is into the game. The Settler, Alberta native stands at 6'6" on the mound. He comes in the top of the 8th inning in what is now a big spot for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kyle Pops has been a two-way player this season for the Maple Leafs, but as of late, he's been primarily a pitcher. Kyle Pops did have a bit of a rough outing last time out against the Guelph Royals, but has pitched a bit better as of late for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Had a nice scoreless inning in 2/3 against the Baycats last week. And the Maple Leafs, they're really going to need a shutdown inning here from Kyle Pops so they can give themselves a chance with the last 6 outs that they have, down by 1. Luis Florentino is also starting to mull around a little bit in the bullpen for the Leafs.
A big righty is starting to mull around over there on the other side for the Welland Jackfish.
That would be Davey Mendez in the bullpen. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Davey Mendez pitched a couple of innings last time he came into a ball game. So I wonder if he's up next. If the Maple Leafs can get some base runners, him and Yasiel Puig would be on a collision course.
That'd be a fun at-bat to watch.
And that'll be a good battle. They've had a little bit of history so far this season out in Welland. I believe it was a hit by pitch last time they faced each other. The 3-2, just inside. Pops trying to pick that inside corner, confirms that the location with the umpire at home plate, and it's a leadoff walk.
Yeah, a little aggressive bat toss there from Justin Gideon. Again, didn't agree with the strike 2 call, and then location in the same spot, and just kind of whips the bat back down, saying that should have been the pitch before.
Here's Robert Mullen. Homered early on in the game. Takes high, ball 1.
The Maple Leafs do want to come back and win this. They need Pops, like you mentioned, to have a solid outing here. Obviously, that first one, it's kind of rocky. You walk the leadoff man.
Kyle Pops was playing in the Hatcher State League before the Toronto Maple Leafs picked him up. That was out in Australia. As this one's hit high in the air to center field by Mullen. Back goes Sidorenios. He's camped under it. He makes the catch, and that's out number 1. Kyle Pops famously told the story on opening day when he was playing out in Australia. That's where he started to learn to hit. He had an ERA of 3.86 and a batting average of 360, so he was a fantastic two-way player playing out in Australia. So he learned to hit, and his wife was the one that taught him how to hit. He was a pitcher before that, and then got married and asked his wife, can you teach me how to hit as well? And he's come in and been a two-way player for this Maple Leafs team as well.
And she's made a couple appearances here, pitched BP a couple of times.
Yep.
Every time after the game, we're tearing down the tent up here and everything.
This one gets to the backstop, extra 90 feet for the Jackfish.
Just to finish that point, every time we're tearing down, I look onto the field and I see just a dog running around. I'm like, whose dog is loose? It's Kyle Pops, and it's his wife always with the ball, just absolutely a cannon of a throw.
Yeah,
every time to make the dog go and chase it. Like they're at the gate at center field. She's probably throwing to where, the shortstop stands.
The 1-1. Yeah, the dog may actually be the most notable member of that family.
Yeah.
It is always making an appearance.
Covers a lot of ground out there in the outfield.
2-1 now on Grant. There's a runner in scoring position. Kyle Pops trying to keep Justin Gideon at second base. And he misses up and away. 3-1 the count now on Logan Grant. Grant takes a strike. He was about to flip the bat back to the dugout. First season in the Canadian Baseball League for Grant with the Welland Jackfish. Hitting .224 on the season. The 3-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3. big punch out for Kyle Pops.
Just got word the dog, his name is Dixie.
So 2 outs in the inning. Jackfish with a 1-run lead. Runner moves up to third base, and Gio Morello, the center fielder, trying to drive one in. Morello scoring to bunt. Pitch was inside, so he jumps out of the way of it.
Interesting play there to go with the bunt there by Morello. He has plus speed. He noticed that Ross was playing a little bit further back. Welland understand this run at third base. You know, it might only be one, but it is a big insurance run late in this ball game.
The 1-0, up and away. This is a big at-bat here in this ball game and the context of the season for the Maple Leafs. The 2-0 pitch. Pops an arm side miss with a breaking ball there, and it's 3-0. Logan Grant, the catcher, a .224 hitter on the season coming into today's game. He's driven in 8 runs and 55 plate appearances. Or Gio Morello, I should say. Morello takes ball 4.
Well, Reinel DePaula is warming up over there in the bullpen. And Rob Butler going out towards the mound. This could be either a pitching change or could Kyle Pops convince him saying he got one more in him. It's not going to be able to. They go to the bullpen yet again, and it looks like it will be DePaula coming in.
Well, we'll have more on that when we come back, but DePaula has had a heavy workload for the Toronto Maple Leafs, comes into a big spot here in a 5-4 game. Ronaldo DePaula comes into this game. This will be the 3rd game in 3 days that DePaula has pitched in. Through 14 pitches on Wednesday, through 12 pitches last night, and now comes into this game with a goal of getting Carson Johnston, and then the Maple Leafs will turn things over to Florentino.
That's 25.
Thank you.
I got you.
Runner on the move, that's Morello, and he'll swipe second base. Could even be defensive indifference there by the Maple Leafs. No one went over to cover.
Yeah, this is fully just target the batter right now, and it's a big one because top of the order are looming on deck.
0-2 the count. 2 in scoring position for the Jackfish. Long hold. Timeout called. Might have a pitch clock next season.
I'm very curious where they would install it here. I think that's one of the things I'm very curious to see what they would do.
Problem for another day.
Exactly, not my issue.
The 0-2 pitch. He struck him out. Or no, he got a piece of it.
2-1, or 1-2, 1-2.
1-2 now. That'll do it. Strike 3. High fastball by DePaula. And he gets in out of a massive spot here in the 8th. Well, closing time has come early here for the Welland Jackfish. Bottom of the 8th inning, Davy Mendez is on the mound. Mendez is not unfamiliar with 6-out save situations, and that's what he's got in front of him right now. Marcus Connect will come to the plate. And Connect. We'll take ball 1. Marcus Connect, one of few players in the Canadian Baseball League that have hit a home run off of Davy Mendez. We'll admit it was a couple years ago, but Marcus Connect was part of a trio that went back-to-back-to-back in a playoff series against Davy Mendez and the Welland Jackfish. Here's the 1-0. And he swings and misses. And the only reason that's even worth mentioning is because Davy Mendez just doesn't give up a lot of anything, ever, in his entire career.
Yeah, one of, if not the best when it comes to being a back end of a bullpen arm.
The 1-1 to Connect. That pitch misses outside. Mendez an ERA of 1.62 on the season. This is his 11th game. He has 5 saves on the year. And the strikeout numbers, pretty ridiculous. 33 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings, averaging 2 of them per inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch. And Connect fouls it off.
Also, only 7 walks in that span.
Last season gave up 5 runs the whole season. This season he's only given up 3. It took him until his 3rd year of his intercounty baseball league career to give up any runs. The 2-2 to Marcus Connect. And he takes upstairs. "3-2 count. Mendez last pitched 2 innings where he gave up an earned run against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers on July 18th. Mendez has given up an earned run in 2 of his last 3 outings. That's all the Maple Leafs are looking for right now. Full count to the veteran right fielder, Marcus Connect. Long hold by Mendez. Here's the pitch. And Marcus Connect hits this ball in the air to center field. And it is gone! Off the top of the wall! Right off the top of the wall. Marcus Connect will slide in with a double. That was close.
It looked like from our angle that hit the top of the snack shack out there. But no, it caught just the top of the wall. Marcus Connect, you mentioned he had one of the home runs in that trio of home runs that Mendez gave up, but he just guess he sees him well here again. It is just a fastball he takes right back up the middle of the field.
I mean, that's about as close as you can get to hitting a home run. That's a metal fence. It's not like it's a thick wall or anything out there in center field. It's just a tarp draped over the batter's eye. That hit the top of the metal fence, bounced up in the air, and then came back down into the field of play. Now it's Dennis DeBanning. And he takes outside.
Well, you mentioned it. I don't think this is anybody else's game except Mendez. I don't see anybody down in the bullpen when it comes for the Welland Jackfish unless they're sitting out there on the bench.
1-0 on DeBanning. He takes outside. Davey Mendez not getting the calls that he would like here in the bottom of the 8th. Two and 0 the count. And that pitch just swung on and missed.
Looked like another elevated fastball that DeBanning couldn't just hold back on.
Marcus Connect standing at second base. The Maple Leafs haven't been particularly good with runners in scoring position in this game. Bottom of the 8th inning, 2-1 count to Dennis DeBanning, and he takes a strike.
Well, here, if you're DeBanning, you want to protect mode. Just try to advance the runner any means necessary. Don't have the heroic of trying to hit the ball as hard as possible. Let Mendez do the work.
Big 2-2 pitch from the Jackfish closer. Way outside. Another full count.
I like that out of DeBanning. He watched it the entire way through. He recognized spin right away out of the hand of Mendez, and he watches it go through. Now, it's a big moment where you have to think Mendez is going to attack.
Spencer Ross on deck. DeBanning trying to keep the line moving here for the Maple Leafs in the bottom of the 8th. Long hold by Mendez, and DeBanning will call time.
before this at-bat, Yasiel Puig pulled DeBanning aside. He was talking with him, saying, this is what I saw out of Mendez. Obviously, you know, DeBanning has a little bit more experience against Davey, but with Puig, the kind of level of hitting that he has, trying to relay as much information as possible.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Another long hold. And DeBanning fouls it off. Yasiel Puig would love to get an at-bat in this game and face Davey Mendez. And with the way things are looking, it could be in a big spot. Long hold, 3-2 pitch to DeBanning. Inside, and it hit him. Hit Dennis DeBanning right in the backside. He walks a couple steps toward Davey Mendez. This was something that caused a little bit of a stir last game, or a couple games ago out in Welland. DeBanning will head down to first base. The Maple Leafs will take it, though. I mean, keep things moving.
Well, also behind the play, the catcher, he kind of signaled to DeBanning. DeBanning gave him a little hand wave, saying, "Understand, it wasn't intentional."
It certainly wouldn't be in a situation as big as this. Now we get a mound visit. Marcus connects, big hit in the inning, millimeters away from tying the ball game, hitting the very top of the fence and coming back in play. Spencer Ross is the batter. Crix Taveras is on deck, and you'll remember Crix Taveras homered in his last at-bat. Spencer Ross steps in a huge spot here for the Maple Leafs. Corners are in for the Welland Jackfish. Ross going to bunt, bunts it back behind home plate.
And it's tough. A lot of velo coming out of the hand of Davey Mendez. If you're trying to get that bunt down, you got to be 100% sure you are on top of it. Because if you're under it by just a little bit, that's a pop-up right to one of these infielders.
Maple Leafs could get two in scoring position with a well-executed bunt by Ross. There's the 0-1 pitch. Ross going to bunt again and takes a strike at the top of the zone. Spencer Ross does not get the bunt down, and now will have to battle in an 0-2 count against Mendez. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Up high. 1-2. Good take that time from Ross. Quinones and Mendez have both tried to get Ross out with high fastballs, but he hasn't been willing to chase any of them.
It's really interesting to see the corners. They're still kind of playing in here. You can see both of them kind of even or just in front of the bag.
Don't think Ross would be bunting here with 2 strikes. Ross takes ball 2. Another gutsy take by the Leafs third baseman.
With just kind of the contact ability that Ross has, it kind of seems like the sweet zone for him. If he was to just flare one, it's exactly where the third baseman or first base would normally be playing. But in this situation when the corner is in, there's a lot of real estate here just to kind of flare one out to the outfield for Ross.
Two and two now. Ross battling from behind in the count. And Ross swings and misses strike three. Davey Mendez gets the punch out. This was the Marcus Connect swing.
And Marcus
from earlier
Connect
on
hits
the
this
inning.
ball in
You
the air
take
to
a look
center
at
field,
This
and
is
it is gone!
On the
Off the
tip
top of the wall.
of the
Right off the top of the wall, Marcus Connect.
Like, I don't even know how it could bounce up like that. Right? It's a chain link fence.
You just can't place it any more perfect.
I'm actually texting right now with someone who's at the park that had a better look at it, and he said he initially thought that it bounced off the top of the wall and hit the flagpole on the other side of the fence, but obviously that's just the way it appeared. I mean, there were a lot of eyes on it, and no one had a complaint, including Marcus Connect, but another person said that it looked like it kind of springboarded off one of the little chain links on the top of the fence. I think that's the most likely one. The 1-0 pitch. That one finds the zone on Crix Tavares. You want to call the rest of this at bat?
I guess you're throwing it to me. 1-1 count here for Tavares. Again, homered in his last at bat. He's been seeing the ball awfully well. He extended that on-base streak now to 5 straight games. And Crix Tavares lifts it to right field. Doesn't get a lot of it. Connect. Tagged up for a second, and you jumped out of your chair.
I thought for a second off the bat there that we did it again.
If it did happen, I mean, you would have to go we would have to go tell Crix immediately. Wow, that was as close as you can get.
But now the attention shifts towards the Maple Leafs, who have once again put a runner on second base with nobody out and are 1 out away from stranding him. But Ben Sidorenius, we'll see if he can change the narrative. Sidorenius goes around on a check swing on the first pitch.
You got up out of your chair so fast. That was I just saw you springboard.
Yeah, because the launch angle was what I expected. 0-1 on Sidorenius. He takes up and away. It's been a short 2-year career for Sidorenius, some as a pitcher, some as a hitter for the Maple Leafs. This has got to be one of the biggest spots that he's found himself in a Maple Leafs uniform. One and one the count now on a tough righty. And he takes outside. Well, if there's one thing Davey Mendez to pick up this save, does have to get through 6 outs, and this has been a long inning, multiple 3-2 counts to lead things off.
Yeah, it starts to wear and tear on you, especially, again, we don't know the Jackfish bullpen situation. Mendez might be it. There's nobody down that line. There's a lot of players in the dugout. They could have an extra arm or two, but you know, Welland definitely going to just stick with their best arm here.
The 2-1. Upstairs, 3-1 now on Ben Sidorenius. Yeah, there's no one in the bullpen sitting out there right now for the Jackfish, but they might just choose to be
In the dugout.
Hanging out in the dugout. This is the second game of a 4-4 for the Jackfish. The 3-1 pitch. Sidorenios takes a strike and didn't like it.
Neither did the Christie faithful.
And he let the home plate umpire know as well, but now Sidorenios is going to have to reset. He stepped out of the box, thought that was ball 4. And all of a sudden, Mendez has him in a 2-strike count, and that's right where Davey Mendez wants him.
And if you're Sidorenios, again, you stay with the same mindset. Don't expand for him. If it's a down-the-middle fastball and you like it, A+ swing. Anything close, you go into defensive mode.
3-2. Check on the runners. Elicits a reaction from everyone who is still here at Christie Pitts.
Yeah, crowd's getting a good little bit of noise
This
out
game's
here.
gone long. It doesn't feel like that because it's been really exciting, but everyone is very engaged here at the pits. Big spot watching their Maple Leafs and Ben Sidorenios. Bottom of the 8th inning, 3-2 count, facing Davey Mendez. And he takes ball 4. Sidorenios takes the walk. Close pitch, great at bat by Ben Sidorenios to load the bases.
And you mentioned Sidorenios. He hasn't had a lot of playing time in his 2-year career with the Maple Leafs, but right there works a terrific at bat against a lethal arm in Davey Mendez.
That's a gutsy take on that pitch, and he got it right. Bases loaded here in the bottom of the 8th. Matt Brandt at the dish. Some close pitches in the at-bat. One going the way of Mendez, that one not. Brandt has a fresh count. And that one in the dirt, it squeaks away, and the runners will hold their ground. That was a good decision by Marcus Connect at third base. That didn't get away very far from the catcher, Grant. Luis Florentino warming up in the bullpen and hoping that he can come into this game with the Maple Leafs tied or leading. Nowhere to put Matt Brandt. It was a rather wild first pitch from Mendez. The 1-0 to the Leafs backstop. Just outside. Logan Grant tried to pull that ball back into the strike zone. What do you do if you're Brandt here? I mean, Mendez hasn't had really control issues, but he's just missing the strike zone. He's fastball here, though.
Yeah, you're in a hitter's count. There's two things. You can either rev up here and expect a fastball down the middle, or Brandt, just keep taking. Take until you see a strike. But you got to make the decision quick.
The 2-0. Fastball down the middle. Problem is, Davey Mendez fastball is hard to hit.
Yeah, and I don't kind of fault Matt Brandt there. You just take until you see a strike. Mendez just walked the guy ahead of you. You know, the Maple Leafs have put themselves in a good position here. Bases loaded, still trying to get that one run. Davey Mendez, tons of pitches thrown in this inning.
Mendez fastball with high spin rate defies gravity on its way to the plate. The 2-1 pitch. Brandt takes a strike on the inner half. 2-2.
So now you just go into defense mode. Choke up a little bit on the bat. Feet a little bit further apart. You're just going in here. Defense on anything in and around the plate.
It's been a long bottom of the 8th inning, but one that the Maple Leafs have not scored in to this point. Mendez trying to get out of a big jam here in the inning. Check swing, did he go? Yes, says the umpire at second base. Davey Mendez gets the strikeout and strands the bases loaded. The Welland Jackfish will have a chance in the top of the 9th inning, but the Maple Leafs did get enough runners on that we will see the Mendez versus Yasiel Puig matchup on the other side. Well, the Maple Leafs batters can take a breath for a moment and hope that Luis Florentino can get out of this inning scoreless and give his team a chance in the bottom of the 9th. Abe lays down a bunt. Brandt picks it up, whips the throw on to first, and in time to get the out. Good play by Matt Brandt.
Terrific, yeah. Brandt could have let that ball roll foul, and they would have had another opportunity, but he fires a strike down there to first and beat Abe by a step.
Jonah Weisner is the second baseman. He comes to the dish. Weisner has had a good day at the plate, 2 for 4.
Game out in Chatham-Kent just finished 8-1 score for the side of the Barnstormers.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Weisner hits one back up the middle for a base hit right over the head of Luis Florentino, and there's a runner on. And depending on what happened in the other games, that hit may have moved Jonah Weisner into the top 5 in batting average in the Canadian Baseball League.
Well, it has him kind of separating himself from Escato when it comes to hits in the league. He already has 1 RBI. That put him 2 ahead now of his teammate Ethan Mann. But Weisner, a terrific day. It's a 4-hit day for Jonah Weisner.
And this one's crushed high and deep to left field, and it is gone. Ethan Mann with a 2-run home run, and the Welland Jackfish have taken a 7-4 lead.
Well, just mentioned that Weisner moved 2 ahead of Ethan Mann in RBIs. Well, Ethan Mann just tied it up.
And that is a huge home run for the Welland Jackfish because their closer, Davey Mendez, threw 32 pitches in the 8th inning. So his task, if he comes back out, has been simplified in the bottom of the 9th. So now it's the shortstop, James Smybert. Smybert takes inside. Smybert's 0 for 3 on the day. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside. The 2-0 pitch, fouled off by Smybert. Eight home runs now on the season for Ethan Mann. 3 off the Canadian Baseball League lead, which was just set by Yasiel Puig. Here's the 2-1 pitch in the dirt, goes to the backstop.
Yeah, Florentino just got the number. This is the first run he's given up in exactly a month, and to the date, it was the Welland Jackfish, the last team to get him.
And that's ball 4 on Smybert. Another base runner here for the Jackfish. And Gideon will take inside. Boy, this has been a roller coaster of a game here tonight. The Maple Leafs came all the way back to make it a 1-run game, and boy, how this game could have been different if Marcus Connect's fly ball to center field had been a millimeter higher. This is a line drive to center. In comes Sidorenios, and he makes a sliding catch. Takes away a hit from Justin Gideon, who robbed one of the Maple Leafs and Spencer Ross earlier with a similar catch. Luis Florentino, 1 out from getting out of this 9th inning, which has seen him surrender a couple of runs on an Ethan Mann homer. Robert Mullen now takes low and maybe outside. One-0 pitch, that one misses upstairs. And then Florentino spikes another breaking ball in the dirt. Now it's 3-0 on Robert Mullen. You mentioned the 8-1 win for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. London also beat Barrie. That game just went final. And a resounding 13-1 victory for Hamilton over Kitchener. Ball 4 to Robert Mullen. 2 on here in the inning for the Jackfish as they look to continue the insurance runs. So Logan Grant, the catcher, will come to the plate. Maple Leafs trailing by 3. We're hoping that Luis Florentino could turn things back over the bats as they had some real momentum going against Davey Mendez and the Jackfish. 32 pitches in the inning, but could not scratch that run across home plate. Here's the 1-1 pitch to the Jackfish catcher. That one misses down and in. Mendez has got on top of a couple of breaking balls in this inning. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed. Florentino a pitch away from getting out of this top of the 9th inning. And it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Florentino punches out Grant. The big swing, a 2-run shot from first baseman Ethan Mann, and the Welland Jackfish have extended the lead to a 3-run cushion. Top of the order for the Maple Leafs. Tall task of 3 runs that they need against Mendez and the Jackfish here in the bottom of the 9th inning. It will be Brando LaRue, Yasiel Puig, Jordan Mandalay, the first 3. LaRue's task is pretty clear. Get on base for some of the big boys behind him. Although I will say Brando LaRue has been supplying the power for the Maple Leafs as of late. And there's strike 1 from Davey Mendez. One of the reasons that Mendez got in some trouble in the 8th inning was from walks. So that's a good sign for Welland Jackfish faithful to see strike 1 there. And then LaRue takes high. Davey Mendez can live at the top of the zone with his fastball if he wants, because it's one of those high spin rate fastballs that just doesn't drop as much as you expect it to. Count 1-1 on Brando. And LaRue takes a strike, one that almost hit him on the inner half, and Brando LaRue is frustrated with the strike zone. So the count's 1-2. A pitch from Mendez outside. Brando LaRue would not chase. I don't think there's been a single pitch that Maple Leafs batters have chased against Davey Mendez. They have been extremely disciplined over this 2-inning stretch that Mendez is trying to complete. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Davey Mendez pushing 40 pitches now on the mound. Mendez takes a deep breath on the mound and reloads for this 3-2 pitch. Gets the sign from the catcher, Grant. And this one's popped up on the infield, hooking towards foul territory, and it is just out of play. Randall LaRue staying alive here in a 3-2 count.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, we're getting beat. We're getting some. Yeah, let's go. Alright. Yeah, all good. Alright. Have a good one. Alright, bye.
This has been a great battle. Davey Mendez jumped out in front of the count. LaRue took some close pitches, fouls one off, and now sees another 3-2 pitch from Mendez. And LaRue gets a piece again. Mendez now at 40 pitches. Davey Mendez has been asked to go multiple innings before. There's been times in the playoffs when he's been asked to go in a third inning of work or longer if the situation needs it. This is a regular season game where Mendez is having to bear down here against the Leafs and misses high, ball 4. Brando LaRue will head down to first base and he works a well-earned walk. Boy, the fortitude that you have to have in the batter's box to not swing at that fastball just above the zone is really something, and Maple Leafs hitters have had it. And this is the battle that we've all been waiting for. Davey Mendez versus Yasiel Puig. The guy who solidified himself on the mound as the league's best versus the best resume that we've ever seen in the Canadian Baseball League at the dish. And Puig pops it up, foul back behind home plate. And this one will land out of play. That ball was hit sky high on a pitch up in the zone by Yasiel Puig. Oh, 0-1 the count in this great battle between two veterans. Puig takes a strike. Top of the zone on the outer half. Yasiel Puig with his hands on his hips and now has to battle. Davey Mendez has him right where he wants him. Ahead in the count, 0-2. Can go with the nasty breaking ball, can try and find the top of the zone, but needs to stay away from the big power of Yasiel Puig. And Puig takes. It took every bone in his body. He flexed every muscle, but he didn't swing at the pitch low and away. Yasiel really wants a pitch that he can handle in this at-bat, and he's telling himself to wait for his pitch. Brando LaRue is the runner at first base. The tying run is still in the on-deck circle in the form of Jordan Mandalay for the Maple Leafs. One and two. Mendez to Puig. And it's way outside. Davey Mendez missing with the breaking ball. Mendez went ahead in the count, missed with two breaking balls. Yasiel Puig almost offered at one of them down and away. That time it was a little further outside as Mendez missed his spot. LaRue just standing on first base, watching this battle unfold. Mendez gets his sign, looks like a breaking ball. 2-2 on Puig. And Yasiel lays off again. No swing as the check down to the umpire is successful. Davey Mendez has tried to get him to chase the breaking ball 3 straight times and goes to a full count. Mendez also operating with an extremely high pitch count for a closer. That last breaking ball was the best one that he's thrown, and Yasiel Puig still laid off. Now where do you go? What a battle this has been. The 3-2. Puig takes outside, ball 4. Yasiel Puig got 4 straight breaking balls after going behind in the count 0-2. And the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Jordan Mandalay. Well, this game is not over yet. It looked like the Ethan Mann home run was going to seal the deal and give the Jackfish all the insurance runs they need. Davey Mendez pushing 50 pitches here in the bottom of the 9th inning with nobody out. The Maple Leafs have 2 on, and they've got the heart of the order coming up. First pitch to Mandalay. He swings at it and fouls it off. Jordan Mandalay, every single at-bat tonight, has faked like he's going to bunt on the first pitch, signaling that he's taking all the way. That time he tried to jump ahead on Mendez. Owen won the count. Another great battle between two veterans. The 0-1 pitch to Mandalay. And he pops it straight up. This is on the infield and in play. And the catch made by the second baseman, Jonah Weisner. Well, here comes the rematch. Marcus Connect, who was the first batter that Davey Mendez faced, and Connect hit a ball to center field. It was as close as you could possibly get to hitting a home run. Hit the fibers on the top of the center field batter's eye, went straight up in the air, and then landed in play. Millimeters from being a wall-scraping home run to center field, which would have tied the game for the Maple Leafs and completely changed the way this game played out. So Marcus Connect will have a do-over. And Connect takes high, ball 1. Marcus Connect ahead in the count. Davey Mendez has got ahead of the first 2 batters. Now delivers ball 1. Remember, he threw 4 straight balls to Yasiel Puig after going up 0-2 and walked him. Mendez to Connect. Marcus Connect takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. 5 straight balls. Marcus Connect taking all the way. And Mendez able to find his strike. One and one. There's kind of a silence that's fell over the crowd here at Christie's Pits. They're all still here. They're just engaged in this battle. Marcus Connect takes high. Two and one. Marcus Connect ahead in the count. Maple Leafs still need 3 runs. Marcus Connect seeing if he can keep things moving along here for the Leafs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Connect takes low and away. What a great take by the Leafs right fielder on a pitch that just missed. Marcus Connect looking pretty stoic at home plate here. Doubled in his last at-bat off of Mendez. Now finds himself in a hitter's count, and you'd have to imagine that Mendez will give him a pitch to hit here. outside, ball 4. It is game on here at the pits. The Maple Leafs have loaded the bases in 2 consecutive innings against Davy Mendez. The Jackfish are thinking, thank God for the run support that they got from Ethan Mann's 2-run home run. Marcus Connect is standing on first base representing the tying run. Pitch count at 52 for Davy Mendez in this attempt for a 6-out save. Nobody warming in the bullpen for the Welland Jackfish. Last inning, Zach Benoit thought that maybe that there was nobody else left in the bullpen for Welland. They used Danny Howitt to get 1 batter. And Mendez is just going to need to keep going here. He's kind of rubbing his arm. This is a lot of pitches for the Jackfish closer. The Hamilton Cardinals, who play the Welland Jackfish tomorrow, have turned on the TV and are loving what they're seeing right now playing out in this game. David Mendez will probably not be available for that game. Demanding the former Hamilton Cardinal at the dish. 0-1 the count. The count. Mendez with a necessary strike 1 there. Looked like DeBanning was taking all the way. Bases are loaded. Strike 2. Another perfect pitch painted over the outside corner. Tough spot here for Dennis DeBanning, but over his career with the Maple Leafs, he has lived for moments like these. Mendez gets his sign. Now gets set for an 0-2 against Dennis DeBanning. And DeBanning will foul this one off. Just got a piece and it floats back out of play. Brando LaRue, the runner at third base. Yasiel Puig at second. Marcus Connect at first. They all walked. Mendez is throwing 3 straight strikes here to Dennis DeBanning. The 0-2 pitch. DeBanning swings and misses, strike 3. Davy Mendez gets a big out number 2. He got Jordan Mandalay to pop out, gets the strikeout of Dennis DeBanning, and now here's Spencer Ross. Spencer Ross would need an extra base hit to tie the ball game. Ross is a guy who's quite good at drawing a walk, hitting .247 on the season. And in terms of extra base hits, he has 2 of them. They're both doubles in his 98 plate appearances this season. Here's the first pitch from Davy Mendez. Ross swings and misses. He took a big cut at that first pitch. The 0-1. Strike 2. Close, but found the zone. And Spencer Ross will call time to regroup. About 60 pitches now thrown by Mendez. He has not been efficient, but he has a chance to throw 2 scoreless innings, if you can believe it, against the Maple Leafs. Here's the 0-2. Ross takes strike 3 called on the outside corner, and that ends the ball game. A miraculous stat line delivered by Davy Mendez. A ton of walks. A big hit by Marcus Connect that was inches away from leaving the yard. And when it's all said and done, it's a 6-out save with no runs allowed by Davy Mendez. But if you watch this game, you know that there was a whole lot more drama than that. It's a victory for the Welland Jackfish. They take down the Toronto Maple Leafs 7-4. Toronto had their chances in this ball game. There were runners on base. They were hoping to steal a win away from the Welland Jackfish, but it wasn't in the cards tonight. Welland comes away with the victory. For myself, Thomas West, as well as Zach Benoit. Thanks so much for tuning in. And